The NCAA College World Series is presented by Capital One Venture Card, official credit card of the NCAA Men's College World Series. And in part by Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories. And the Home Depot, more saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
South Carolina and Oklahoma ready to do battle in an elimination game here in bracket 2 of the College World Series from Rosenblatt Stadium. Gorgeous night, as you can see. Blue skies, just a couple of fair weather clouds, and thankfully there is nothing nasty forecast tonight of the College World Series that's been plagued by some bad weather. 81 beautiful degrees on the field as we send it down to Aaron Andrews.
Sean, thanks. In talking to Gamecocks head coach Ray Tanner, he said if you needed one word to describe his center fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr., he said it would be special. Said this kid at a very young age has figured it out. And you guys mentioned what he's done on the field in his first 2 games here at the College World Series. He has gone 5 for 8, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. So I don't think it would be an understatement to say in order for South Carolina to stay alive at the College World Series, they need Jackie Bradley Jr. to keep doing his thing.
I'm pretty much like an all-around player. I mean, I can run a little bit, throw, I can hit for average, hit for a little power every now and then.
I've been fortunate to coach some very talented players in the past, some guys in the big leagues, but he possesses that characteristic, that trait, that he goes in another gear sometimes, and he's a winner and he plays the game the right way. A guy that plays by example. He doesn't do a lot of cheerleading, and he plays the game right. He respects the game. He's a great team guy.
We all come out here all set with one goal, and that's first of all to get to Omaha. And now that we're here, everybody's out there going for the national championship.
Bradley Jr., of course, Sean, has that 18-game hitting streak. His teammates telling me he just makes difficult plays, just seems so easy, and he just makes everybody relaxed on this South Carolina team.
And we are ready to go. Chris Ellison ready to lead off for Oklahoma. He'll be looking out again at Blake Cooper, the ace of the staff, the senior. As we said, looking out again because Blake Cooper was the starter and losing pitcher in the opening game of this College World Series against Oklahoma. Pitched 5 innings in that game. And then, of course, the rain delay came, 2 hours and 1 minute, so he did not return. Ellison quickly in a hole, 0-2. Two for 7 at this College World Series for Chris. And the 0-2 pitch hit him. And let's give you the rest of the Oklahoma lineup, brought to you by Capital One. Max White, the left fielder, will hit next. Then Garrett Buechele, their leading hitter for average and power numbers. Tyler Ogle homered in the last game against Clemson. Cody Wren's been hot. He's in right field. Cameron Seitzer is the first baseman. At the bottom of the order, they flip-flop. Bushyhead and Black moved Bushyhead to 7th, dropped Black down to 8th, and they're trying a new DH tonight. Caleb Herron, 3rd different DH in as many games here at the College World Series for Coach Sonny Galloway. And here's Max White, freshman from Durant, Oklahoma.
Well, early on in this game, you're going to see him move some guys around, get some runners in scoring position. You want to strike first as quick as you can, especially with the shadows.
White looked at a strike, hitting .295 overall, still looking for his first hit of this College World Series. And he had a costly drop fly ball in their loss to Clemson that put them into this elimination game. Showed bunt, swings away and lifts one to deep left center. Jackie Bradley Jr. back on the edge of the warning track to make the catch. It's a rarity when there's very little wind at Rosenblatt Stadium, but relatively speaking, that's the case. About a 5-mile-per-hour breeze blowing out toward left. Sonny Galloway, Stillwater, Oklahoma native. Former Oklahoma assistant coach, now in his 6th year as head coach after a stint as the head man at Oral Roberts. He's led the Sooners to the College World Series for the first time as head coach. This appearance, their first since 1995. They won it all in 1994. And that Oklahoma team beat a very good Georgia Tech squad that featured Jason Varitek and Nomar Garcia-Parra, among others. Now Garrett Buechele. Hitless in their loss to Clemson, the game that ended yesterday and started 2 nights ago, was suspended by rain. The Sooners in particular will be happy just to see a nice night where maybe the entire game could be played without interruption.
Well, they do enjoy the fact that they see blue skies. I don't know if they're real happy about these shadows, but you know, clear skies, and actually a good thing for them. They get to see the same pitcher, Blake Cooper, that they saw the other night.
The runner goes, a swing and a miss, an excellent throw, and they got him. Beautiful throw by Kyle Enders, the catcher. And he's a good thrower. He's thrown out about 50% of those trying to steal against him. So Sonny Galloway trying to get something going at the top of the batting order, but they run into the second out of the inning.
And I think that comes from, you know, what's been going on with the top 3 guys in their order. They haven't been able to get any movement out of that top guy, out of the top guys in the order. And once you get somebody on, you want to start moving him around.
That's foul.
Shell got a big chunk of the catcher Enders with that foul ball. He's trying to shake it off. The home plate umpire will give him some time. A.J. Lastaglio is the home plate umpire tonight, with Paul Gilway, Kelly Gonzalez, and David Savage are the base umpires around from first to third.
That's foul.
This might be one of those situations where there's not a lot the training staff can do to help Kyle Enders, except offer him some encouragement. South Carolina team that has made its way here largely on the strength of pitching and good defense. They're 10th in the country in fielding. Only 60 errors in 65 games. Jackie Bradley on the SEC all-defensive team in center field. Bobby Haney's made only 6 errors all year at short. And Scott Wingo, the second baseman's on the conference all-defensive team as well. And as we mentioned, Enders a very solid receiver. Might be singing soprano in the South Carolina choir when he returns to Columbia.
Obviously, you don't feel the same way I do. I understand that.
Yes.
I feel for him.
Yes, I think we all do.
And I don't know if we need any more replays.
No. I'm glad that Jonathan Lebovich and Mike Roig decided, just in case there was any doubt where that hit him. One more look. I think if they get back to the hotel tonight and watch the replay of this game, Enders will probably skip through that. Fast forward. Buechele strikes out, and Blake Cooper's out of the first inning. After a half inning, no score. And welcome back to Omaha's Rosenblatt Stadium in its final year hosting the College World Series. This event will move about 3 miles away downtown next year in a beautiful new $128 million ballpark. Let's take a look now at the starting lineup for the South Carolina Gamecocks, brought to you by Capital One. They're looking for their 50th win of the year. They're 49-16. They have the freshman Evan Marzilli leading off in left field. Whit Merrifield is the right fielder. The red-hot Jackie Bradley Jr. in center. Then the freshman Christian Walker at first base. Brady Thomas, the DH. Adrian Morales at third base. Kyle Enders catching. Bobby Haney, the shortstop, and Scott Wingo, the second baseman. Not a lot of offense at the bottom part of that order. Haney and Wingo mostly in for their defense. And on the mound for Oklahoma, he's been the ace of their staff. Zach Neal, Jr. from Flower Mound, Texas. He's been their Friday night starter. Ordinarily, that means he's your best starting pitcher starting every weekend series. But he's been a little bit up and down lately. Near the end of the regular season game against Kansas, he took a line drive off his right ankle, suffered a very small fracture of his right ankle, and he's had up and down results since. They said it's not an issue for him. His first pitch is fouled away by Marzilli, freshman out of Cranston, Rhode Island, athletic powerhouse Bishop Hendricken. Neal missed in the dirt. Ball and a strike on Marzilli. 380 his average. That's tied for the team lead with Bradley, but Marzilli's had only 71 at bats for most of the year. He was a bench player. Emerged late in the year, and Ray Tanner is stuck with him. That's foul ball down the left field line.
I think one of the things, especially after their last game, the best thing Neal brings to the Sooners is he pounds the strike zone. He walks very few batters. You know, fastball, slider, change, but really attacks the strike zone. And for them, you know, they ran into trouble against Clemson by walking guys.
Throws in the high 80s typically. Occasionally get it up around 90 miles per hour. He's out of junior college. Howard College. He led all of junior college baseball in best ratio of fewest walks to innings pitched. Base hit for Marzilli, the lead man on for the Gamecocks. And here's Aaron.
Sean, just a little bit more about Zach Neal and talking to Sonny Galloway about his injury. Mentioned it happened about 3.5 weeks ago, and how can he be pitching, you know, with a hairline fracture? Coach Galloway did tell me that they anticipated him coming back a week after that injury, so it's not anything major that he's going to, you know, try to re-injure that foot. But what I was told by Coach was the biggest thing they're going to look for tonight is he starts to get hit. He is good at pitching out of jams, but he just says we can't let this game get away from us tonight, considering what we have in our bullpen. So Coach Galloway going to keep a really big eye on Zach Neal tonight.
Yeah, Sonny told us that this morning. He said, hey, it's an elimination game. We're going to have a quick hook with the starter and any other pitchers who are out there and getting in trouble. Use the depth of their pitching staff. Whit Merrifield, the batter. Hit and run on. He slaps one foul to the right.
And that was one of the things Sonny Galloway said when we asked him really what happened in that last game with Clemson, and talking about the 14 straight balls. He said, I don't think anybody's going to get close to that because they're going to get taken out of the game before they even get close to that.
Well, Bobby Shore, his starting pitcher a couple nights ago against Clemson, was breezing right along. Then through 14 straight balls, it caused a big problem. Led to a 4-run inning for Clemson. Swing and a miss by Merrifield. He's the only Gamecock to have started every game for them this year. He's had an excellent year. .331 batting average. 13 home runs. He led the Southeastern Conference in runs scored with 72. Swing and a miss.
What's up?
Merrifield seemed not to realize that was strike 3. It's just a very leisurely stroll back to the dugout. Ray Tanner is the head coach at South Carolina. In his 14th season, 628 wins in Columbia. He's also the head coach at North Carolina State prior to coming to the Gamecocks. 1,024 career wins. He was the 4th fastest active Division I coach to reach 1,000 wins. 4th time he's brought the Gamecocks to Omaha. The 1st time since 2004, and some of the natives down in South Carolina were getting a little restless. That was the goal in 2010, and the Gamecocks are back. Their 9th appearance all time at the College World Series. Jackie Bradley Jr., red hot hitter, takes a strike. Team leading 380, 13 homers, tied for the team lead with Merrifield. 57 runs batted in, leads the club, and he's had a tremendous 2 games here. 5 for 8 with 2 homers. And 6 runs batted in. The runner goes. The pitch is thrown into center field by the catcher. Wide throw by Ogle. Now the throw to third from Chris Ellison, not in time. So Marzilli winds up at third with 1 out.
Well, this is a nice jump. I mean, you're going on first movement, and as the ball goes out in the center field right here, Caleb Bushyhead does a nice job of trying to fake and keep the runner at second base, and he knows right there when he let it go that he doesn't have a chance. It's just one of those things you set your feet and try and get it out of there, and didn't get a good enough grip on it.
It's a stolen base for Marzilli. His 6th of the year without being caught, and then an error on Ogle, the catcher, for the errant throw. And now Bradley takes the ball low. Three balls and a strike on the sophomore from Prince George, Virginia. Strike over the outside part of the plate.
Well, really important right here just to make sure you put it in play in the middle of the field. You know, a 3-1 count, you want to go ahead and be aggressive, try and put it in play. Now you're at 3-2. You got to make sure you don't swing through a slider.
Paused by Zach Neal, and the 3-2 pitch popped up over by the dugout. This will be close, and it's caught.
Well, as a hitter, you want to be aggressive, especially once a guy gets to third base. But you know, in the start of this at bat, he took a fastball right down the middle on the second pitch. You know, trying to get something to pull through that hole once he's on first. Now the runner goes to second base, ends up at third. Now you just got to put it in play. You can't be too fine looking for a perfect pitch. You got to be aggressive. Make sure you hit it to the shortstop or second baseman in worst case scenario. Right there, Neal just does a nice job of getting inside and popping him up.
That's a big out as they dispatch one of the hottest hitters in the country right now. Bradley's riding an 18-game hitting streak. Here's Christian Walker, the freshman first baseman out of Limerick, Pennsylvania. Selected to the SEC all-freshman team this year. A lot of extra base production for Walker. More than half of his hits this year have been for extra bases.
I know we're talking about being aggressive, and we know Jackie Bradley Jr. is their hottest hitter, and you would think you're going to try and hit a home run or drive something in the gap. But you know, in these elimination games, you just take what the defense will give you, and with the infield playing back, that's your worst case scenario, is just a soft ground ball to second base.
Zach Neal working from the stretch with the runner at third base and 2 outs. Walker took a ball outside. Neal makes his home now in Flower Mound, Texas, but he was born in Columbia, South Carolina, the hometown of the University of South Carolina. Now pitching against the Gamecocks. Lived in Columbia till about age 9. Went to a couple of South Carolina baseball camps as a young boy. Fly ball down the right field line. Cody Wren made the catch. The organist was sure he was going to catch it. He started playing the music before the ball was even in the glove. No score after 1 in Omaha. Scheduled to start at 1:10 local time, but weather delayed the start 4 hours and 15 minutes. They finally got underway. Oklahoma's offense just a little bit better. Caleb Bushy had a homer in the second to bring a 1-1 tie. In the 8th, it was Garrett Buechele taking one deep to left, give Oklahoma a 2-run lead. Then they had to hang on. South Carolina loaded the bases in the 8th and the 9th. Ryan Duke got Adrian Morales to fly out to end the game. And the Sooners escaped with a 4-3 victory, a game that ended after 10 o'clock local time. No precipitation tonight, but pleasantly warm temperatures down on the field, over 90 degrees. And Blake Cooper was the starting pitcher. A decent performance. Pitched 5, probably would have kept going, but after the 2-hour and 1-minute rain delay, they didn't want to bring him back. And there's a little lob down the right field line, a hit for Tyler Ogle. The leadoff hitter for Oklahoma. That's their first hit. They have the lead man on for the second time in as many innings. Middle third of the order for the Sooners here in the second. Ogle, now Cody Wren, and then Cameron Seitzer. Wren, the right fielder, sophomore. And Walker, Louisiana. Squares to bunt and takes a strike.
Well, again, Oklahoma's going to just try and get that runner into scoring position. To get something early, you're going to have to get guys in scoring position, and hopefully, you know, with a ball like that Ogle hit, you're just looking for something, even if it's like that.
Well, he swings away with them charging from third base. Morales was creeping in.
Sometimes you get yourself a fastball if you're squaring around early, and he did take a fastball down the middle, and Cooper does a nice job of throwing a changeup and getting Wren to swing through it.
1-2.
Cooper threw 67 pitches in those 5 innings on Sunday against Oklahoma. Good sinking movement and a good squeeze by the catcher. Enders on a foul tip. So Wren strikes out. Second strikeout for Cooper. And the coaching staff for South Carolina, Ray Tanner and the pitching coach Mark Calvey, checked with Blake Cooper several times to make sure that he felt he was 100%. Coaches told him, if you're not 100%, we don't want to run you out there for this big game, an elimination game on 3 days rest. And there's Mark Calvey, the pitching coach, who calls the pitches. And he assured them that he felt terrific. But not only is it short rest, I mean, in the major leagues, this would be 1 day short of rest. But in college baseball, typically, if you're a starter, you pitch once a week. And this young man's typically the Friday night starter. Goes out there to start their Southeastern Conference series. And he's had a terrific year. He's gone out there over and over again this year and defeated some of the best pitchers in the country head-to-head in the SEC, facing Cameron Seitzer now.
Yeah, and they have, you know, their off days where they throw on the side and things like that, and that's really what this is for him. Well, it's considered a side day where they go out and they pitch in the bullpen, and they throw a lot of pitches, and you know, just to get ready for their next outing. But you know, one of the things that the coaches talked about is unusual for college, he pitches in very well, and not a lot of college pitchers do that.
There are a lot of these college pitchers so concerned about the pull power with these aluminum bats. Certainly Seitzer has home run power. He homered against Clemson.
Ball 3-2.
Oklahoma's hit 4 home runs in 2 games, but all of them have been solo shots.
Well, one of the things that you're seeing that Blake Cooper's doing, he's throwing a backdoor slider, and then he also runs this pitch, which I think he's probably going to throw right now, is the one that starts at the hitter and comes back over the inner half.
And that's ball 4. So Seitzer's aboard. He's the son of Kevin Seitzer, terrific major leaguer, .295 career hitter, been a hitting coach for the Kansas City Royals, and he owns a baseball facility in the Kansas City area, Mack and Sites, and young Cameron has spent a lot of time throughout his young life working with Dad on his swing at their baseball facility. Cameron Seitzer says he talks to his dad about every at bat of every game. It's a pretty good resource to have.
Now that's out.
Well, Kansas City's leading the major leagues in hitting right now. Must be doing a pretty good job. He was a great hitter in his time. He was just a very clutch hitter. Didn't have a ton of power, but he could still hit balls out, but very good at going the other way, getting his hands inside the baseball, and just being a clutch hitter.
You play against him?
Yes, I did. Quite a few years. He was a good player.
Two-0 the count on Bushyhead, and that's going to bring Calvey, the pitching coach, to the mound. Bushyhead's had 2 good games here at the College World Series. including that home run we showed you a moment ago Sunday to help propel the Sooners to the 4-3 win over South Carolina in the opener. It was a 2-hit game for him. He singled to drive it another run in the 4th inning. From Manford, Oklahoma. Between Tulsa and Stillwater, small town. He was not highly recruited at all coming out of high school. When I visited with him the other day, he said as a freshman in high school he was 5'4" and 110 pounds. And obviously grew. He's listed at 5'10" now.
Thank goodness. It's been a tough way to play shortstop.
Yes. It's funny, we asked each of the players here at the College World Series to fill out a questionnaire and get a little background information, and part of it's the height and weight. And on his, he had written 5'10", and then he scratched through the 0 and wrote 5'11". And I asked him about it when we spoke the other day. He said, well, I'm actually between 5'10" and 5'11", so I'm going to round up. And there's another hit that should do some damage for Oklahoma. Ogle around to score. Sights are in the 3rd. Bushy had another big hit. And the Sooners lead 1-0.
Well, you don't have to hit it hard to knock in runs, and this is that ball that they're trying to run inside, and Bushyhead just really brings his hands inside and does a nice job just getting it out into the outfield. You're not going to get a real big swing on it, but if you can get your hands inside it and get the barrel on it, you're going to see quite a few hits like that with the way that Cooper's running that ball in on the lefties.
Bushyhead's been their best hitter here at the College World Series, now 4 for 7 with 4 runs batted in. Danny Black, the batter, and give Coach Galloway credit. He's been moving Bushyhead around in the lineup. Originally had him slated to bat 8th tonight, but moves him up to 7th. Black dropped down 1 spot to 8th. And he just drafted by the Florida Marlins in the 14th round. Tall second baseman at 6'2", 164 pounds, and a good athlete. And he hits a rocket to first. And they throw to second. They knew it caught a tag, and they do for the out. And no run scored as they executed that play before Seitzer crossed the plate. So a nice play in the field by Christian Walker, the first baseman. Handled it. And then they needed to apply the tag, and they did for the out before the run scored. But that was unbelievable. What I remember most about that, Robin, is meeting with Skip Bertman, the legendary LSU coach, the day before the game. He said, I feel sorry for Warren Morris. He has some power, but he's had a wrist injury all year long, and he really can't pull the ball. He can't snap his wrist and snap through the ball. So all he's been doing is slapping singles to left field all year long. So not only was the end of the game stunning, but I think you could hear the surprise in my voice too, because we were surprised he pulled the ball and hit a home run, since he really hadn't done much of that. Hadn't hit a homer all year and hadn't pulled the ball hardly at all year either.
You sounded just as surprised as everybody on the LSU bench, I'm sure.
It's the bottom of the 2nd. South Carolina at bat, trailing 1-0. Even when LSU doesn't make it to the College World Series, a lot of their fans still come here to Omaha for the experience. We've seen a lot of Texas fans here this week as well. Swing and a miss. Brady Thomas strikes out. Ogle has to throw down to first, and he gets it to Seitzer in time for the out. Second strikeout for Zach Neal.
Thank you, Alicia.
And I think, of course, the worst moment when you were robbed and saw your 58-game hitting streak come to an end in this ballpark. Still the all-time college record on a kind of a shaky official scoring
It's the all-time worst.
I think that was the all-time worst moment here.
My worst moment actually is losing in the final. That would have been, that was the worst.
What year was that?
1987 to Stanford. And I'm, don't bring it up anymore, please.
What happened in that game against Stanford?
We just lost. We lost.
Adrian Morales hit a high hopper down to third. Michel throws him out. 2 quick outs, and 5 in a row now retired by Zach Neal. Kyle Enders was in the batter's box. Something came on the field out on the warning track and right. Enders, senior team captain. Co-captain along with senior right-handed pitcher Jay Brown. Kyle's a fifth-year senior. Last year he shared the duties behind the plate with Justin Dallas. Breaking ball wide. And a strike over the outside part of the plate. No sign of any problems from that drive leg for Zach Neal, pitching with a small fracture in his right ankle.
And you'd expect to see something. I mean, you would expect to see maybe him dragging it a little bit more, or getting the weight and the pressure off of it quicker in his delivery, but he looks pretty smooth.
No, that's a ball.
Apparently just a little bit high. I think we should commend the umpires too. These are the best in the country. They've earned their way here, and the umpiring has been excellent throughout this College World Series.
Ball.
AJ Lastaglio behind the plate, working his third College World Series. He's a fitness and nutrition consultant when he's not umpiring. He's from South Florida. These umpires from all over America.
Strike three.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. Strike three called. Not exactly sure that's where Neal meant to throw it. A little bit of a hanging breaking ball, but it was a strike, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Neal. After two, Oklahoma leads South Carolina 1-0.
Game.
Bases loaded, 2 out, bottom of the 8th. FSU and TCU alike on their feet. Curry at the plate, McGee on the mound. Crushed to dead center field. Holt. It's gone. A grand slam. Holy cow, what a shot.
Mike Patrick, as always, with the great call of a great moment at the College World Series. Matt Curry said he knew as soon as he hit it, it was gone. You could tell by his reaction, he immediately turned towards his dugout to celebrate. So it looked like TCU was heading home. Instead, they eliminated Florida State. And now the Horned Frogs get a shot at the bracket leader, UCLA, tomorrow. TCU will have to win 2 games in a row over the Bruins to eliminate UCLA in the double elimination format. Within the brackets, the winner of each bracket after double elimination play moves on to the national championship finals, which will begin Monday. Oklahoma trying to fend off elimination, as is South Carolina. The loser of this one will go home. The winner will play Clemson tomorrow night. Tigers have the upper hand in bracket 2. They're 2-0. Caleb Herron looked at a strike. Sonny Galloway trying to find some offense. The bats have been quiet for Oklahoma here in Omaha, so he's turned to Herron, who's making his first start since May 1st, and his first career start ever as a designated hitter. Been primarily an outfielder for Oklahoma. They haven't had a hit from a DH so far in 2 games. They've tried Eric Ross and Ricky Eisenberg in the number 9 hole as the DH. So they're going to give Caleb Herron a chance tonight. He's got a little pop. They're hoping he might be able to go up there and bang one out of the ballpark. Ball low from Blake Cooper, who's allowed a run on 2 hits.
We've seen that a lot with some coaches late in the season. We have Spencer Keyboom that just started catching. He had one caught game until the end of the year.
Scott Wingo over to Christian Walker for the out. Herron is retired. Here's some other storylines, and really to me the most impressive team has been UCLA, largely because of their dominant pitching. Clemson's 2-0. The last time they were there, they lost twice to South Carolina, and the Gamecocks wound up playing for the national title, losing to Texas. TCU still here. The 2-0 start's usually a great omen. 18 of the last 20 national champs have started 2-0, and it's UCLA and Clemson in that position this year.
Yeah, and UCLA's really set up well with their pitching. They're deep in their pitching staff, but you know, obviously with a lot of days off, the rain pushed back a game the other day, so they've had 3 days to really set their pitching up, and we're not even in the final yet.
And you were out there for the Super Regionals. UCLA was 1 out away from elimination in the Super Regional against Cal State Fullerton. Now they're 1 win away from playing in the national championship finals.
I know that it's bizarre to really, you know, for me, that I actually did that game to see them really in a situation where you think they were flat and they didn't have a chance. You get 1 walk and a home run. Now they're up, and they actually gave up that lead, and then we're down again, and then came back and ended up winning that, scoring 4 runs later. So and the surprise has really been their offense here in Omaha, because before they had a decent offense, but they're pretty explosive in Omaha.
Called strike. Full count on Chris Ellison, who was hit by a pitch and was caught stealing in the first.
And they're trying to back up their softball team that also won a national championship earlier.
Ellison out ahead of it. The pitcher better hurry, and he did. Well done by Blake Cooper to win the race to the base for the second out. And a good feed by Christian Walker as well.
Well, normally you're taught as a pitcher to get to the baseline and run up the line, but this ball's hit so softly that Christian Walker does a nice job of just leading the pitcher Cooper to the bag, and he had a straight line to the bag because he wasn't really going to be able to get to the line and still beat Chris Ellison up the line. So sometimes the pitcher, you just have to, you know, take the direct line to the base.
One strike on Max White, the center fielder. Excuse me, the left fielder, flying to center field his first time up. And he's quickly in an 0-2 hole.
I'll tell you, when you struggle, this seems like the count you always end up in, and you know there's almost nothing you can do about it, because you go up there, you want to be patient, you know that you have to kind of have a perfect swing, perfect execution, and the more you think about it, the more you end up in 1-2 and 0-2.
Foul ground. Would be a long run to be caught, and they can't get there. Good effort by Whit Merrifield and Christian Walker. Cooper 12-2 for the year, and one of those losses was to Oklahoma when his start was shortened due to the rain delay Sunday. Great walk to strikeout ratio coming in. 36 walks the year, 110 strikeouts, almost another strikeout there. ERA of under 3. Pitching and defense, the formula for South Carolina. They haven't made an error in 2+ games here at the College World Series now. White, an excellent athlete, he was a high school quarterback, battling the shadows and Cooper. He strikes out on a breaking ball. A 1-2-3 inning for Blake Cooper. The winner of this one will play Clemson. When we come back, Aaron Andrews visits with the Tigers head coach Jack Leggett.
Tomorrow, tournament favorite Brazil takes on red-hot Portugal. And later, Spain needs a win to lock down a spot, but they'll face Chile, winners of 2 straight. The 2010 FIFA World Cup continues tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN2.
Powerade Ion 4, complete with sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. 4 electrolytes lost in sweat. on 4, the complete sports drink.
Can a smartphone reach the 4 corners of the earth? Can it make unlimited Skype-to-Skype calls to any country without using any minutes?
Hello?
I am anyone on Skype. Droid can with Skype Mobile, one of thousands of apps that can run with other apps from the ever-expanding Android market. When there's no limit to what Droid gets, there's no limit to what Droid does.
Right now, buy one Droid by Motorola and get a second one free. Only from Verizon.
Call Consolidated Credit. They'll get the credit card companies to reduce or eliminate your interest.
Call 800-440-5217.
Consolidated Credit. When credit card debt is the problem, they're the solution.
It's been a hit parade here at the College World Series for the Clemson Tigers on their way to a 2-0 record in bracket 2. They've had 20 hits. It's been a small ball attack, that triple by Kyle Parker against Oklahoma, their only extra base hit. They have 19 singles, many of them timely. They're 2-0 and awaiting the winner of this one tomorrow night. And Aaron Andrews is standing by with their outstanding head coach, Jack Leggett.
We are breaking down Kyle Parker. What were you asking me just about that? He wants to break something down. I'm not going to interrupt Coach right now.
I just saw the video, and I was wondering if Kyle's ball actually went out when he hit the triple to center field, but it couldn't have because I think the screen's about 10 feet beyond the fence, so it was a legitimate triple for Kyle.
Well, maybe tomorrow, Coach, but we just saw the video, the hit parade, you know, how well your offense has been clicking. Why?
I think we're confident right now, and from top to bottom, we got some guys that are feeling real good about their swings, and we did a really good job of execution hitting the first 2 ball games, and it gets contagious just like anything else. If things go bad, things get contagious. If things go good, they get contagious. So I think everybody's feeling real good about their balance, their aggressiveness, and their confidence level is very high right now.
You should feel pretty good about what your pitchers are doing as well. What's been the key to their success?
Well, they've been working ahead in the count and doing the things that you have to do. You have to throw all your pitches for strikes, battling with men on base, being consistent, keeping the extra base runners off base, and they've had a great attitude about it. They've picked each other up when one of them wasn't doing so well. The next guy would come in and pick him up, and so they're really working well as a pitching staff right now.
One win away from playing in the National Championship Series for the first time in school history. I mean, have you let that sink in?
I've tried not to let it, to be honest. I appreciate, letting me know about it, but I really just trying to stay in the moment, try to keep our team in the moment, just keep on focusing on what we got to do tomorrow night at 8 o'clock against either one of these teams. And I just want us, I don't care who we play, it's just important to me how we play, and we play our game and stay in the kind of the zone that we're in right now, because we're playing pretty well. And if we can just keep that up, then I think we'll have a chance to win tomorrow night.
What's their message tonight before they go to bed?
Get some rest. Get up, eat breakfast, shower, shave. See you at the breakfast, and we'll be ready to roll. 10:30 curfew. See you then.
That goes for Robin and Sean, too. Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Guys.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Good luck to Jack Leggett, one of the real good guys in college baseball. We mentioned earlier the pressure in the past. Typically when they've come here with teams that were considered to be the favorites. 2006, they were the #1 national seed. A few years before that, they had Khalil Green, one of the best players. Once again, the catcher has taken a shot. This time it's the Oklahoma catcher, Tyler Ogle. Earlier, Enders, the catcher for South Carolina, took one. First batter of this inning, Bobby Haney, grounded out while Aaron was talking to Jack Leggett. But you get the sense, because there wasn't much expected of Clemson when they got here. They're the only one of the 8 teams here that was not a #1 seed in the regional. Jack Leggett seems a lot more relaxed, and it looks like that has been passed on to his team. They've played very loose and confident baseball.
I think so, and that can happen here. You come as a #1 seed, and a lot is expected, and maybe the crowds, get behind you, and you feel like you're going to let them down a little bit. But you come here with not a lot of expectations, and you just play natural, and that's really the way Clemson looks like they're playing. And Coach Leggett's showing his Southern charm as they play here, and a lot of the fans are really getting behind him because they're just playing loose.
Southern charm for a guy from Bangor, Maine.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you couldn't tell he was really from the South, but he's doing a nice job down there.
Yeah, he's been a terrific coach. The only thing left really on his resume is winning the national championship. Clemson has not won it. we've mentioned many times the ACC hasn't won it since Wake Forest in 1955. A lot of hits, particularly in that game against Arizona State, when they got off to a great start here by beating the #1 team in the country with 14 hits, all of them singles.
And it's always hard to not take the teams that are 2-0. To really look at a team that already has one loss like these two do. But you know, when Clemson's playing, they just play so well. I mean, every facet of their game is just clicking right now for them. And you know, not a lot of home runs or extra base hits, but you know, timely hitting.
Swing and a miss. Scott Wingo strikes out. And 2 quick outs here in the third. Zach Neal's allowed just 1 base runner after 1 trip through the batting order. Friends, you can follow us in Omaha on Facebook and Twitter. Search ESPN Omaha on Facebook and join our 20,000 fans. Get behind the scenes access to video and discussions along with information on all of the featured bands. You can also follow ESPN sideline reporters Kyle Peterson and Aaron Andrews on Twitter for live updates and insights on all the storylines. Deep drive right center. Run down by Cody Wren. Evan Marzilli is retired. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Zach Neal. Game here at Rosenblatt Stadium. We check the game track brought to you by Coke Zero. Just 1 run for Oklahoma in the second. Tyler Ogle lit off with a single. Moved up on a walk to Cameron Seitzer and scored on a base hit by Caleb Bushyhead. Meanwhile, Zach Neal allowed the first runner of the night for South Carolina to reach, and then he's retired 9 hitters since. Well pitched game. This is the ace of the staff for both sides, Blake Cooper and Zach Neal. Cooper's allowed just that 1 scratch run through 3. He threw strike 1 to Garrett Buechele, and strike 2 as well fouled away.
Well, Cooper's done a nice job of ever since giving up that run. He's throwing a slider and then backing it up with a fastball that'll move in on the righties. He'll sometimes try and pick the outer half, but really done a nice job of mixing up his sinker slider.
Buechele just trying to stay alive. A great job of hitting there with an 0-2 count, protecting the plate, and he slaps it in a right for a hit. Lead man on for Oklahoma for the 3rd time in 4 innings. The 3rd hit for the Sooners. One of them belongs to Tyler Ogle, who singled to right and scored their run in the 2nd. 1 run, 3 hits, an error, and 1 man left on base for Oklahoma. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on for South Carolina. Ogle showing bunt. He's the cleanup hitter.
Sometimes in this situation, a guy will show around and he'll show his bunt, and they're trying to get him a fastball. You might pull it back, maybe a hit and run. You know, once you show it that early, sometimes you have the ability to pull it back just in time.
Ogle gets the bunt down, and it's a good one. They have to hurry. And a nice throw by Enders to get him. It's a sacrifice and a man in scoring position. South Carolina here for the first time since 2004. They were here 3 years in a row, 2003 and 04. When they were here in 2003, Ray Tanner and the Gamecocks went to the local children's hospital, and among the patients they visited, a young boy by the name of Charlie Peters, then 5 years old. Gave him a T-shirt, among other things. He kept in touch with the Gamecock program, has been a big fan of theirs from a distance, and wearing a Gamecock T-shirt to bed just about every night in all those 7 years since. So Coach Tanner very excited to renew his friendship with Charlie Peters, and the best news of all, now at age 12, he's a very healthy young boy.
And that's the great thing. All these teams that are out here, they go visit hospitals and they go to do different things, and those are really the friendships that come out of this. Is they do a lot of good. I mean, they do great things in their hometowns where their colleges are, but you know, the things they do around Omaha and the relationships that they start are tremendous, and it's just fun to see that story.
That's another aspect of this College World Series. All these teams make visits on the off days. Ray Tanner, his players and coaches were really looking forward to the visit with Charlie before the game tonight. Charlie's ready for a foul ball if one comes in his direction.
Well, the other thing that's good, especially when they go around and see these kids, is, you know, you get on the field, it's not that big a deal. You know, if you make a mistake or you make an error, you know, things that you're going to see Charlie, you know, you realize it's not so bad. You just play baseball and you feel pretty relaxed.
Look out, late swing and a little dribbler foul. Still 2-2 on Cody Wren, who struck out his first time up. He's from Louisiana. Played one season in junior college at Grayson County. And a backdoor breaking ball for strike 3. Nice pitch by Blake Cooper.
Well, that's just getting fooled on that pitch. That you're expecting that pitch is going to right in at your front hip, come back over the inner half of the plate. And this one, he just starts it on the outer half and really paints it on the black. And that's a nasty pitch if you're a left-handed hitter, especially when you're looking for a ball, a fastball that's going to be running inside and coming back over the plate.
Cooper with ball 1 up and away to Cameron Seitzer, who walked in the second inning. The only walk yielded by Cooper, who hit a batter to start the game. Pop up shallow left. It's Marzilli, the left fielder. And that ends the inning. Oklahoma did not capitalize on the leadoff single by Buechele, to the delight of Charlie Peters. And that is the Avatar Spirit Stick in the South Carolina dugout. That's been their good luck charm, dating back to the regionals when they were struggling to score runs. They were playing Bucknell in the opener of their regional in Columbia. Strike in for strike 1 from Zach Neal to Whit Merrifield. They were trailing Bucknell 5-1 when the rains came and caused a rain delay. The coaches were telling us this morning they went into the locker room at one point, opened the door, the lights were off, the players were gathered in a circle. Their arms were linked. They had a couple of lighter looking things in the middle of the room. It looked like they're having a seance. They were gathered around that Avatar Spirit Stick trying to get the hits to start coming. They taped that ball to the sweet spot of the bat, trying to find some good karma. When the game resumed, they went out and rallied, beat Bucknell, won every game of the regional, and then swept a very good Coastal Carolina team in the Super Regionals. So they're believers in the Spirit Stick.
It is amazing what you can believe in. It's amazing. And they truly believe that thing is partly responsible.
Well, it's working. They're 6-1 with it. Merrifield looked at a ball. Mark Calvey, the pitching coach, told us he walked into the room in the middle of it. They said, "Coach, you want to stay? You want to participate?" No, that's okay. You guys seem to have it under control.
It's all yours. It's all yours, whatever you want to do.
See a lot of that here. Teams with their little superstitions, things they rally around. Bushy head throughout Merrifield. South Carolina had a good year. They had a chance to win the SEC East. They lost a series late to Florida, wound up finishing second, but still a very impressive 21-9 record in the SEC. They won 8 out of 10 series in an outstanding conference. Went 3-0 in the regionals. Beat Bucknell, the Citadel, and then a very good Virginia Tech team coached by Pete Hughes, who was bringing that Hokie program along rapidly. Then they had to go to Coastal Carolina, a team that was 55-8 when the Gamecocks arrived, and they won both games in the Super Regionals to earn their way back to Omaha for the first time since 2004.
Well, Zach Neal just seems to be cruising along here, right? I mean, you know, the more you look at this, he just a couple 1, 2, 3 innings.
If he keeps pitching like this, they might try to fracture the ankles of all their other pitchers. If he's pitching with a hairline fracture in his right ankle. All you pitchers line up are going to whack you in the ankle with a fungo bat. He got hit by a line drive. Jackie Bradley Jr. facing Neal, who's retired 10 straight since Marzilli led off the Carolina first with a base hit. Looked like Jackie was swinging for the downs again. He's homered in each of the first 2 games. From a small town in Virginia, Prince George wasn't really highly recruited. The Carolina coaches saw him in an AAU tournament in Atlanta, and they immediately fell in love with him.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's got a lot of tools. Terrific offensively and defensively. They talk about what a great kid he is with a great attitude. That's pretty well hit to left, but not far enough. Edge of the track for Max White, and there are 2 down here in the Carolina 4th.
Well, Zach Neal just had a nice little night of just mixing speeds, mixing locations. He's got a nice slider he throws on the outer half. It has been tough, but the left-handers, he's keeping them off balance. He's throwing that slider, and he throws everything for strikes. He's getting anything that's coming through the hitter's zone, dropping out of the zone, but you know, really keeping South Carolina just off balance, and that's the key to any good pitcher, is just to keep them off balance.
Ball 1 outside to Christian Walker. Freshman first baseman. He was a big part of their sweep of Coastal Carolina in the Super Regionals. He hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Turned out to be the game winner in their 10-9 win at Coastal Carolina that sent the Gamecocks to Omaha. He was their best hitter in conference play during the regular season at .346 in the SEC. Bushy head behind second, makes the catch. Another easy 1-2-3 inning for Zach Neal. When we come back, we'll speak with the head coach of the Gamecocks, Ray Tanner.
Welcome back to the College World Series. Oklahoma leading the South Carolina Gamecocks 1-0. And South Carolina's head coach Ray Tanner joining me right now. And Coach, we were just talking about Blake Cooper and how he's just kind of settled in after giving that run. What's been key for him in doing that?
Well, he started to make a few pitches. After he gave up a run, he got the big double play, and he's pitched pretty well from there. We aren't doing a lot with Neal right now. He's on cruise control as well.
So what do you have to do?
Well, we need a break. We need maybe a duck snort somewhere. We need a CNI dog. We need something to happen, but just got to keep battling. We're very much in the game right now.
What exactly is a duck snort? I've never heard that before.
Well, that's when you don't hit very hard, but it finds a way to fall in there somewhere.
Learn something new every day, Sean, don't you?
Yes, indeed, we do.
Thank you, Coach.
Ray Tanner, colorful guy. When he was hired to be the head coach at NC State, he was an assistant there. He's 27 years old. He was hired by a pretty colorful guy himself, then the basketball coach and athletic director at NC State, Jim Valvano. And he and Ray Tanner were very good friends. Ray told us a lot of stories about the late, great Jimmy V when we visited this morning. Said he hated to go around to those booster outings because anytime he had to speak after Jimmy V, he felt very inadequate as a public speaker.
I think everybody would. You know, that's the worst time to speak, is after somebody like Jimmy V. Is that when you just excuse yourself very quietly? And
yeah, Jimmy, you take care of it. I think they've had enough.
Just sneak out the back door.
Caleb Bushy had the batter against Blake Cooper. It's quickly a 0-2 count. Bushy had another clutch hit for the Sooners. RBI single to knock in the only run of this game back in the second inning. Cooper's allowed 3 hits, all of them singles.
All out.
And Ray Tanner told us when they'd go to these functions, Jimmy V would tell them, watch this, I'm going to make them laugh and then I'm going to make them cry. And then you think ahead to very late in Jim's life when he made that memorable speech at the ESPYs and talked about every day you should laugh and cry among the other things that you should do every day. Ray said Jimmy was executing that long before he made that memorable speech.
Yeah, anybody I've ever run into that knew him said he was amazing at just getting people emotional and into anything he was talking about.
Bushy head thrown out by Scott Wingo. Well, Blake Cooper on 3 days rest has rewarded the faith of the coaches in him. He's given them a very nice outing.
Yeah, and he's just throwing this slider, sinker, painting the outer half, but really what he's doing is he's freezing these guys, these left-handed hitters on the inner half and then dropping that slider over the outer half. And he's on cruise control too. I see both these pitchers tonight pitching very well.
The 12th round pick of the Diamondbacks, you saw on the graphic, Coach Tanner said if Blake Cooper was 6'4" instead of 5'10", he believes he would have been a much higher draft pick. Fly ball down the left field line. Good effort by Evan Marzilli. I remember being here last year talking about a right-handed pitcher who some thought might be too short to succeed in the major leagues, Mike Leake, and he's had a pretty nice start as a rookie without ever throwing in the minors for the Cincinnati Reds right out of Arizona State.
Yeah, very similar in size, and I would say that you know, obviously Cooper's bigger, but you know, as far as control and that slider, he has the same thing as Mike Leake, a lot of control.
All out.
I think one thing that he would have to have, and Blake Cooper would have to have something really slow, just something that's so deceptive, and Mike Leake has that. It's just a changeup, a fork ball.
Slam foul by Danny Black.
But if he had something that was really slow, that was very different from his sinker slider, he would have something that would obviously, you know, be difficult for hitters to pick up, and you know, over time professional hitters wouldn't be able to hit it.
In the air and center, routine fly for Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 outs, and friends, we remind you can keep up with all of the NCAA College World Series information by logging on to NCAA.com. It is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Oklahoma's won the NCAA championship in baseball twice, in 1951 and in 94. South Carolina's never won it. Caleb Herron, the batter. Number 9 hitter, DH, grounded out his first time up. Blake Cooper, the senior, has erected quite a resume for the Gamecocks. 33 career wins, 6th all-time. With South Carolina, if he wins tonight, he'll move up to a tie for 4th. First team all-conference this year, 3rd team all-American. And one of the keys to his success this year, he lost about 15 pounds. Didn't really play baseball last summer, dedicated himself to better physical fitness. And they really believe that's helped him get deeper into ball games this year. And perhaps the reason why he can bounce back on 3 days rest as he has tonight. And he's still sharp. Foul tip caught by Enders. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Oklahoma leads 1-0 when we come back to chat with the coach of the Sooners, Sonny Galloway.
Welcoming you back to Rosenblatt Stadium. Oklahoma leading South Carolina 1-0. Their head coach, Sonny Galloway, joining me right now, and your pitcher, Zach Neal. Kind of, what are those eyes?
Well, he's hanging in there. He's doing a good job. We want to keep it going. You know, we ran into one really bad, ugly inning in the last game, so I think Zach's starting to feel it a little bit and settle in, and that's a good thing. Always getting through the early innings is tough at the College World Series.
What's working for him right now?
You know what? 3-pitch mix. He's mixing all 3 pretty good, Aaron, and he's doing it at different times, and that's what all of our guys have to do.
Now, what do you have to do to get a couple more runs, Coach?
Gosh, try to manufacture. Let's just keep putting pressure. Try to get them in scoring position, and sooner or later you're going to get that hit.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, you can tell he's a little bit afraid, Coach Galloway, of the one bad inning that has plagued them here in the first couple of games. So we played 16 really good innings and 2 bad ones. You want to wear Zach Neal's hat, Robin, when this is over?
I don't even think Zach wants to wear Zach Neal's hat.
That's working for him. Brady Thomas, first ball swinging, popped it up for South Carolina. Catch made by Max White. (1994), the last time Oklahoma won the College World Series with a 13-5 win over Georgia Tech. I mentioned earlier that's Larry Koshel, the head coach. Sonny Galloway congratulating them. Sonny was an assistant.
Ball, that's up.
Nomar Garcia Parra, Jason Veritek among those on that Georgia Tech team. They haven't been back since 1995, the year after they won it all. Sonny Galloway told us when he started out on Larry Koshel's coaching staff, he was as a volunteer assistant. He was coaching in high school at Norman High. Larry Koshel wanted to get into college, wanted to bring Sonny Galloway on, and Sonny wanted to be a college coach. Adrian Morales grounds out. The only spot they had was for a volunteer assistant, so Sonny kept a part-time job teaching health and phys ed at Norman Public Schools, making about $20,000. But his wife said, all right, we'll make it work. Chance to get started on living your dream, and now here he is in his dream job, head coach of the Sooners after a stint at Oral Roberts.
I love how he described how having to be very creative in surviving on his volunteer money.
Of course, the salaries have come up in college baseball over the years, but he mentioned when he took the head coaching job at Oral Roberts, his budget to hire 2 assistant coaches, he could pay one of them $16,000 and the other one $8,000. And every time he took a job, he took a pay cut. By the time he took the Oral Roberts head coaching job, he was on the coaching staff at Oklahoma as a paid assistant. The coaching job at Oral Roberts paid less, but he took it. Then he came back to Oklahoma to assist Larry Koshel. Felt like he owed it to Larry to return the loyalty that Larry had showed him in giving him the start in the first place. But that was another pay cut.
Ball 4.
All 4 down and in. Kyle Enders is aboard, and that ends the string of men in a row retired. And at 14, that's the best streak of any pitcher in this College World Series.
Shortstop number 23, Bobby Haynes.
So 2 outs, and here's Bobby Haney, and as well as Neal is pitched. South Carolina now could go ahead with one swing. Into the right field corner. Enders on his way to third. Haney into second with a double. So after Neal retired 14 in a row, the walk ends the streak, and then South Carolina picks up its second hit of the night in the first since Marzilli led off the first with a single.
Well, he's not waiting around at all. He gets an inside fastball, gets that barrel to it right away, and just gets it inside of first base right by Seitzer. Not easy to see with the sun in his eyes. Get 2 guys in scoring position. Ring gets this ball in very quickly, with South Carolina unable to score. But really, you know, as Coach Tanner said, you're just looking for something. You know, he was talking about a duck snort, but you'll take that double to get some guys in scoring position, and, you know, hopefully you can get something happening.
Yeah, that was too hard to be a duck snort. That was a well-struck ball.
Well, I mean, in his description, maybe that's not a duck snort.
Well, I think he was thinking little bloop that falls in. That was a well-struck ball.
The duck snorts hurt, actually, like physically, just as far as your psyche for the other team. Those hurt. Those, you're bummed out, but the duck snorts really hurt the pitcher's psyche.
hope they have the tape running, because I can feel Emmy's coming for all of us. Some good duck snort conversation here tonight. Scott Wingo, the batter, and now Ray Tanner wants to talk to him after he fouled the first pitch away.
He's probably describing exactly what a duck snort is.
He'd like to see one. Wingo's a glove man. 259 in college baseball is not a robust average. Number 9 hitter, junior from Greenville, South Carolina. His dad was a fine player, Bill Wingo, at Clemson, 2 times in all ACC selection. So if South Carolina comes back to win this one, Scott will be playing against his dad's old team tomorrow here at the College World Series. They didn't get a hit with men in scoring position on Sunday. Lost by 1 to Oklahoma. They don't have a hit with men in scoring position. Of course, they haven't had any runners tonight. They did get Marzilli over to first base in the first inning. 0-2 pitch is wide and a little bit high as well.
Well, we were talking about Oklahoma having, problems at the top of their order of just hitting, but you're not going to be able to win unless you're knocking guys in. And if you leave a small village out there, those are the things that just pile up on you at the end of the game mentally.
1-0 Oklahoma, but South Carolina with 2 men in scoring position. 2 outs here in the 5th. The 1-2 to Wingo, and he flicked it away. It looked like a pretty good pitch to hit, but he was in defensive posture there.
Yeah, really, you're almost doing him a favor by throwing him a slider. If you're in a defensive mode, you can see that pitch a little bit longer. Wouldn't be surprised to see an inside fastball.
Zach Neal to Scott Wingo in a big spot. Neal trying to get out of the inning, and he hit him right in the number 8. Not what he wanted to do with the number 9 hitter up there. We'll give this bottom third of the order credit. They've loaded the bases. Enders, the number 7 hitter, walk. Haney a double, and now Wingo, the number 9 hitter, hit by a pitch.
Well, after Wingo spoiled that backdoor slider, he tries to come inside and just can't get it in there. And Wingo just takes it. With first base open, you're not all that upset about it. Zach Neal's like, I tried to get it in there, tried to strike him out. The worst thing you could do is just leave one over the middle of the plate. So at least he's trying to get one on the inner half. That would be a tough pitch to hit.
So the bases are loaded for Evan Marzilli, the freshman. He pops it up. Foul ground off the third. Bouchel the catch, and South Carolina leaves the bases loaded. After 5, 1-0 Sooners. They have the top of the order coming up in the 6th. Back to ESPN's coverage of the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. We're at Rosenblatt Stadium. It is packed for this elimination game between Oklahoma and South Carolina. Oklahoma still leading 1-0. Gamecocks had a great chance to tie it up or take the lead from Sonny Galloway's team. Zach Neal got out of a bases loaded 2-out situation when he got Evan Marzilli to pop up.
Yeah, and this is the pitch that he was trying to get earlier to Wingo, and doesn't get it. And you can just see how pumped up he is after getting that pop up. That's important. I mean, you get the other guy, you try and make a perfect pitch, you hit him, you give him first base, and you come right back with that same pitch and just aces it.
Neal knows what it's like to pitch for a national champion. That's the goal here, obviously. Last year in junior college, he went 13-0 for Howard Junior College. They won the National Junior College Championship. They had a record of 63-1 as a baseball team, and Neal was a big reason why. How about these numbers? In 89 2/3 innings last year, as Ellison fouls one off. 89 2/3 innings for Neal last year at Howard Junior College. He walked 9 in 89 2/3 innings and struck out 104.
Who were they playing?
Oh. What, are you trying to diminish his performance by suggesting that they were playing less than stellar competition?
They were either a tremendous team Or maybe
the competition stinks?
No. Yes. I mean, that's pretty dominating.
I'd like every junior college player and coach who played against Howard Junior College last year to send their mail to Robin Ventura. Clear of ESPN. 1-2 to Ellison is in the dirt for Blake Cooper. He's been almost as good as Zach Neal. Pitching on 3 days rest. Neal's bounced around. First year at Oklahoma. Made his second team all conference. In the air to center. Couple of steps in for Bradley Jr. 1 out. Cooper's retired 7 in a row. Here's Aaron Andrews.
Sean, and here's more info for the Emmy reel. You know, Bobby Haney's double in the top of the 6th. You guys were wondering if that was a duck snort. I actually asked Ray Tanner to clarify that. He said, no, that ball was hit hard. Duck snort's kind of like a bloop job. And he said, I know that Robin Ventura was a good hitter, but come on, you had to have had a few duck snorts back in your day.
You had to. When you hit in 58 straight games, you have mixed in a bunch of duck snorts.
Well, this isn't a duck snort, but, you know, duck snorts actually.
Now, that's not a duck snort either.
That is not a duck snort either.
No, that's a bounding ball, pretty well struck, and Max White has his first hit of this College World Series.
Had a career filled with them. It's kind of nice. Now, those 2 balls are hit way too hard. You know, you can get a ball through the hole like this. You know, you get a nice effort from Haney, but, you know, those balls are hit hard.
Not a duck snort. When we see a duck snort,
I'll let you know. Yeah. I will let everybody know.
Were you watching the Chicago White Sox game today? I was in the hotel flipping around the TV, came upon the Chicago White Sox game against Atlanta. And the White Sox announcers, Hawk Harrelson and Steve Stone, were saying you were one of the smartest hitters of your era.
All right, where are we going?
No, I'm just telling you, that
Sean?
was a very nice compliment. They were also praising you for the job that you're doing on ESPN, broadcasting these college baseball games.
I thought you were going down a road there.
No,
just
thought you'd like to hear the compliment if you didn't hear it directly.
I was ready to wear one if I had to get hit by something.
They said, particularly for a guy they didn't like very much, they were impressed by your hitting. No, I'm kidding. They also raved about what a wonderful guy you are, which is the truth. More wonderful action from the 2010 FIFA World Cup on ESPN and ESPN2 Friday afternoon, 2 Eastern time. On ESPN, it's Chile taking on Spain. And on ESPN2, Switzerland faces Honduras. And you can throw out the records when Switzerland and Honduras get together. The World Cup is available on TV, online, and on your phone. A win would guarantee Spain at least a second-place finish in Group H. Switzerland's likely going to need a win and some goals to advance. They trail Spain 2-1. Goals scored. Some of the traditional powers in that World Cup have had some difficulty over there in South Africa.
I'll tell you what, it's been entertaining. It's been not really the soccer, just watching teams try and practice.
Yeah, the French team.
When that guy threw his credential, I had a hard time not laughing.
But wouldn't it be the equivalent? I mean, the World Cup is the biggest event in soccer, arguably the biggest sporting event in the world. So you're the French team, and you've waited your whole life for this opportunity.
Or 4 years.
Yeah. And then you decide we're not going to practice a couple of days. Imagine if you made it to the World Series and the day before the first game of the World Series said, you know what, we're not going to practice today. We don't like the fact they fined one of our teammates for mouthing off to the manager.
Yeah, it is entertaining.
Jared Buechele, the batter.
Of course, the U.S. soccer goal. That was, I mean, there's been some fun stuff on TV. The Wimbledon Ultra match.
I was afraid I might have disrupted people on my floor in the hotel yesterday morning when I was watching that. When Landon Donovan scored, I let out quite a loud yelp. Much more than a duck snort. Swing and a miss. Buechele strikes out. 2 down here in the 6th. Because the Americans were dominating that game. They deserved to win.
And this is just a nice slider right here that Cooper just keeps running the ball inside and then throwing that slider that comes out flat. It looks like a fastball and then has the break at the very end of that pitch.
6 strikeouts. And he has scattered them. He's had 1 strikeout in every inning, Blake Cooper.
Ball, that's out.
Had a very nice postseason. That's continuing here tonight. Tyler Ogle singled and scored the only run of this game in the second inning. Scored on a single by Caleb Bushyhead. Ogle dropped down to sacrifice bunt in the fourth. Sooners leading 1-0. 2 outs. Runner at first. Max White here in the sixth. And a ball. Blake Cooper in this NCAA tournament beat the Citadel in the regionals as they swept 3 games. He struck out a career high 12 in that one, and then in his outing against Coastal Carolina in the super regionals, he did not allow an earned run and got the win. Up and into Ogle. 2 men on now with 2 down in the Oklahoma sixth. Second walk given up by Blake Cooper. Mentioned he was the starter in the first game of this College World Series against Oklahoma. Outing shortened to 5 innings because of the rain delay that lasted more than 2 hours. They didn't bring him back. He was better tonight. The pitching coach Mark Calvey to the mound. There'll be a pitching change. Mike Roth, the left-hander, the new pitcher when we come back. With both teams facing elimination with a loss in this one, outstanding job by the 2 starting pitchers. Zach Neal of Oklahoma is working on a shutout, and Blake Cooper so far responsible for just 1 run through 5 2/3 innings. He struck out 6, walked 2, gave up 4 hits. So he'll be a spectator for the rest of this one. He'll leave 2 base runners behind. Job very well done by Blake Cooper, working on short rest. 98 pitches. After he worked on Sunday for 5 innings.
Yeah, and I think part of that is, you know, being out there on Sunday and throwing those 67 pitches. But they bring in Michael Roth, and the interesting thing about Michael Roth is he drops down against lefties, and then he's over the top against righties. Just kind of something that happened. He's also a first baseman, and they noticed him.
Hey, here we go.
Coach Calvey noticed him when he turns double plays of being very efficient at throwing sidearm down to second base on a ground ball, turning 2, and they just started working on it, of him dropping down, and exactly the perfect time to come in against Cody Wren.
They said to Roth, have you ever tried sidearm from the mound? Because you do it in the infield. He said no. He said, well, let's try it, and it's been very effective for him. Roth's been busy, pitched in more than half their games.
Well, that's when you know it works, because you wouldn't get that many appearances unless it worked.
Cody Wren has struck out twice against the starter. Hits one right off the end of the bat. A lot of spin on it. Fielded cleanly by Bobby Haney, and he just did get Wren on a bang play at first. So Oklahoma strands 2. And a job well done by Roth. Nasty pitch to the left-handed hitter to get the Gamecocks out of the inning unscathed. That would give the Bruins an unprecedented double. No school has ever won both the softball and baseball national championships in the same year. But work to do for UCLA. They'll try to eliminate TCU tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern time on ESPN2 HD. Horned Frogs will have to beat UCLA twice. The Bruins need just 1 win to send the Frogs home. Frogs are still here. Dramatic fashion, they rallied to eliminate Florida State, with both teams facing extinction last night. Absolutely perfect night in this beautiful city. Temperature around 80 degrees, low humidity. Thankfully, no precipitation. Jesse Cuevas and his ground crew deserve a tremendous amount of credit for what they've done here with all the bad weather. The field's great as always. South Carolina looking for some offense. They've been shut out through 5 by Zach Neal. Whit Merrifield ran up to bunt. Missed it, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Then Jackie Bradley Jr. and Christian Walker against Zach Neal, who was born in Columbia, South Carolina.
That's the ball.
That's a ball, says A.J. Lastaglio.
Well, you start making your third trip around the lineup to a pitcher, you need to start making a move. And, you know, for South Carolina, it just doesn't look like they're getting a good look at him.
Ball down.
Ooh. That looked like a pretty good pitch. I think AJ's had a very good night back there calling the balls and strikes, but he might have missed that one. Neal thought it was strike 3. And you don't want to give a good hitter like Merrifield another chance. In the air, right center, should be playable for Ellison. 1 down in the South Carolina 6th. That's a very good hitter dispatched. Merrifield owns the longest hit streak in South Carolina baseball history, 26 games in a row. Here's Bradley trying to threaten that record, an 18-game hitting streak coming in, but he's 0 for 2 tonight. On the ground down to first. Seitzer waved Neal away. Cameron made the play unassisted. 2 quick outs.
Well, Zach Neal's done a nice job with Jackie Bradley Jr. and he's just keeping him off balance. He's running the ball inside, and he was very tentative in the first at bat with a runner on third base. Took a couple pitches on the outer half. There he's trying to throw a backdoor slider, doesn't hit it very hard. And his last at bat right there, you're just throwing something over the middle of the plate, and he's probably trying to do too much. I think sometimes you can, you know, if you're going well, you think you can hit everything.
Ball out.
2 quick outs. 1-0 the count on Christian Walker.
Ball in.
And a ball just inside. Walker's fly to right and popped to short. Might be time for another seance down in that dugout for South Carolina.
I think they need a rain delay, don't they?
Yeah, that's what prompted the seance. They had the rain delay, some time to kill. Towering foul ball out of play. There it is, the Spirit stick. Helped them turn around that regional opener against Bucknell and propel them on to the College World Series. Have to believe in it. If you do not believe, you cannot achieve. And there's a duck snort. At long last, Ray Tanner gets what he was looking for. Little bloop hit for Walker. And for the 2nd inning in a row, the Gamecocks get a man on with 2 outs.
Well, to be defined as a duck snort, you either have to hit it off your hands or off the very end of the bat. This one goes off the end of the bat, just out of the reach of Bushyhead.
They got 2.
I think Ray Tanner was wanting that when the bases were loaded.
Yeah, he would have liked that last inning with 2 outs when they had the bases full. Left them loaded. They've stranded 4. Both teams have left 4 men on base. Brady Thomas, the DH, the batter. Senior from Anderson, South Carolina. Was struck out and fly to left. Ball and a strike on Thomas, who's a transfer from Florida State, played 2 seasons for the Seminoles, so he had a chance here to visit some of his old pals.
All right, 1-1.
He split time as the catcher for South Carolina this year with Enders.
That's out.
I think if you're Oklahoma, you should be real careful with Thomas. He has 21 out of his 41 hits this year are extra bases. So, I mean, really he has that gap-to-gap power to be able to knock somebody in without hitting a home run, or if he does get one, he does have the power to get it out of here.
Yeah, 12 doubles, a triple, and 8 homers. Boy, there's a nasty pitch. Great downward movement on that one from Zach Neal, and Thomas swung right over the top of it. 2-2 pitch. He struck him out. 6 scoreless innings from Zach Neal. Cameron Seitzer will be at bat for Oklahoma, leading off the 7th with a 1-0 lead when we come back. The winner advances and the loser goes home. It's an elimination game in bracket 2. The winner will move on to play Clemson tomorrow night here at Rosenblatt Stadium. On to the 7th we go. The late innings now. Still a 1-0 game. Here's Aaron Andrews. Apparently a problem with Aaron's microphone. Seitzer the hitter, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. He's walked and fly to left tonight, facing Michael Roth, the lefty out of Greer, South Carolina. Best student on the team. He's a business major. One of the nice things about the opening ceremonies here is they salute the leading student on each team. And Roth was that man for South Carolina, 3.82 GPA.
Coach Stanner also was quick to inform us that their team has the highest GPA.
Yes,
here
they
at the
were
College
also
World
recognized
Series
for that during the opening ceremonies. 3.12 GPA. Hit on the ground to short. Backhanded by Haney. Nicely done. He's an excellent glove man. Bobby Haney. 1 out in the 7th, and now we will check in with Aaron Andrews.
Sean, good to see South Carolina not taking their frustrations onto the field here. Before Christian Walker actually hit that single that you guys called a duck snort, guys were very, very annoyed, frustrated, kind of starting to throw some things here in the dugout that they can't get their bats going. So it'll be interesting to see how they react when they come back in. But don't want to say there's tension right here in the dugout, but they're kind of frustrated.
Bouncer down the first, and Bushy had retired. Some anxious moments there for Christian Walker and Michael Roth, but they execute. It's their 3rd straight errorless game here at the College World Series.
Really a nice job by Christian Walker right here at first base. The one thing you got to make sure you do is knock it down. Don't let it go under your legs and get out into the outfield, and then worry about flipping it to your pitcher after. That's just a nice job, especially that ball kind of getting up into the sun.
Oh, Danny Black. But it looks like the catcher was crossed up. Enders able to stab it at the last moment, or else it might have hit A.J. Lastaglio, the home plate umpire. Black's 0 for 2 tonight. Roth throwing strikes. Looking for a 1-2-3 innings. Retired all 3 men he has faced on 3 ground balls.
That's foul.
Chopper foul. Says A.J. Lastaglio, and he meant it. Said it with great vigor, and the strikeout ends the inning. 4 up and 4 down against Michael Roth. 7th inning stretch. Carolina running out of time, facing elimination.
to lift the trophy and call yourself champion is the dream of every college student athlete.
And Georgia Southern has won the national championship.
Don't miss any of the action at NCAA.com. Your home for all 88 NCAA championships, including over 300 live webcasts, highlights, scores, stats, and more. NCAA.com, where champions live.
Newsweek calls Night and Day easily one of the best films of the summer. Us Weekly cheers. It's exhilarating. Tom Cruise is at his Jerry Maguire best, and Kenneth Turan raves. It's the most entertaining made-for-adults movie of the summer. Night and Day. Rated PG-13.
Welcome to Greater Offshore Bank and Trust. Right now, we're offering you $500 just to open an account. We just need your most intimate personal information. Driver's license number. Do you have any credit cards on you? Just put both of those numbers right here. We're doing a DNA scan. We just need a hair sample. Can we put that in there? Your first boyfriend, just a yes or no, whether or not he broke your heart.
Newsweek calls Night and Day easily one of the best films of the summer. Us Weekly cheers. It's exhilarating. Tom Cruise is at his Jerry Maguire best, and Kenneth Turan raves. It's the most entertaining made-for-adults movie of the summer. Night and Day. Rated PG-13.
Well, a moment ago, as the South Carolina Gamecocks arrived in their dugout, getting ready to hit in the bottom of the 7th inning, Whit Merrifield, one of the team leaders, gathers teammates around, gave him a little pep talk, trying to get the bats going. 9 outs away now from elimination. Down 1-0 in an elimination game for both teams. And they're not an explosive offensive team. Ray Tanner said that 8-run second inning in the game against Arizona State, when they wound up scoring 11 runs, was an aberration. They're generally a team that wins with pitching and defense. Has to win the low-scoring game. This is a low-scoring game. They're on the short end of it right now.
Yeah, they're very used to playing in this type of game, the 1-0, 4-3 game. But usually they're the one run ahead. So, you know, coming back, Oklahoma's the comeback team, but Carolina's going to have to find a way to do it tonight, because they have to find a way to try and solve Zach Neal.
Neal's allowed just 3 hits. He's walked 1, hit a batter. That's a well-struck ball and a base hit. One of the few loud noises made by South Carolina tonight. Leadoff single for Adrian Morales, the third baseman. And there is activity starting now in the Oklahoma bullpen. Jeremy Urban has begun throwing.
And you need some emotion if you're South Carolina. You felt like you've had some opportunities. Haven't really been able to push anything across, but you know, you just need a spark. You need something to just give you a positive outlook that it's going to work. And the bat's out. The Avatar
Spirit bat.
Spirit bat. Okay, thank you.
I didn't see Avatar. I guess I'm the only person in the world who didn't, but apparently that bat represents something that was also an Avatar. A bunt by Kyle Enders. He's retired on a sacrifice. And now the tying run is in scoring position for the Gamecocks with 1 out here in the 7th inning. And there it is, the Avatar Spirit Stick. The bottom part of the order again. Bobby Haney, the batter. He's just a .259 hitter in there for his defense.
That's foul.
Foul ball. Ray Tanner acknowledged that. He said we're kind of the old school lineup there, with toward the bottom of the order, the guys who aren't as good with the bat, but who earn their spot with great defense.
Yeah,
and Wingo.
Yeah, I mean they're great defensive players, but anytime a guy's in the lineup, you're going to ask him to knock in some runs. And you know, Haney hit a double down the line in his last at bat.
play to the left. When we showed you the softball highlight of UCLA winning the national championship, of course, you can have a short fielder in softball. That's just about what Danny Black, the second baseman, is.
Yeah, I'm surprised earlier Bobby Haney didn't try and push a bunt, just drag a bunt into that area. There'd been no way for him to throw him out at first base.
Irvin should be ready in the bullpen if needed. Neal's over 90 pitches now. That one is wide.
And usually you do that if you get a big hitter, you know, your David Ortiz's or Ryan Howard, you know, guys like that you put a guy at second base and let him go all the way out into right field. But you know, shortstop, second base guys, you don't see them normally use that kind of defense.
Swing and a miss. Haney strikes out. 2 down here in the 7th. 2010 FIFA World Cup continues on ESPN and ESPN2 Friday morning 9:30 a.m. On ESPN it's Portugal and Brazil. On ESPN2 North Korea faces the Ivory Coast. The World Cup available on TV, online, and on your phone. Well, they're going to hit for Scott Wingo, the number 9 hitter. Robert Berry coming up, junior from Apopka, Florida. Apparently he was the creative force behind the Avatar Spirit Stick. He's the one who designed it, taping the ball to the barrel of the bat to try to create some good karma and good contact. And if he can square one up, they'll be tied or even ahead if he can hit his second homer of the year.
Well, hopefully he's connected to the Spirit Stick.
Part-time starter, 22 starts this year. He's had 94 at bats with 26 hits for that .277 average.
Here we go.
Just 7 outs left for South Carolina. Ray Tanner needs something to happen soon. In the 2 games in the College World Series now against Oklahoma, they're still hitless with men in scoring position. 0 for 12. And a strike in to Berry.
If you're South Carolina, you're hoping you didn't use them all against Arizona State in the second in 1 inning.
They're looking at that thing like they're not sure it works anymore. They're losing faith in the Spirit Stick.
Well, they're picking something off it. I don't think you can do that.
But if the Spirit Stick has lint, maybe it's not as effective. Neal trying to preserve the shutout. More importantly, the lead. Misses away. Carolina has a versatile team. They have a number of players who can come off the bench. They have a number of regulars who can play a variety of positions. Can the bench provide a big hit right here? Well, 1-2. Strike 3. Zach Neal continues to be masterful tonight against South Carolina. He has shut out the Gamecocks on 4 hits through 7 innings, and we go to the 8th in this elimination game with Oklahoma still leading 1-0. Zach Neal's moment through 7 innings as we look at the Coke Zero game track. He has shut out South Carolina on 4 hits. Oklahoma has only 4. And the biggest, the RBI single by Caleb Bushyhead way back in the 2nd inning. He brought in Tyler Ogle, who had started that inning with a single. Neal's walked only 1. He has struck out 7, including a strikeout a moment ago of the pinch hitter Berry to end the inning. Number of changes. We mentioned the flexibility that Ray Tanner has because of the versatility of his players. Whit Merrifield has come in from right field to play third base. Robert Beery, who was the pinch hitter, went out to right field in Merrifield's spot. Adrian Morales, who was the third baseman, has moved to second base. There's also a new pitcher, John Taylor. His first pitch, a strike, and there's Beery in right field. They have 2 sidewinding or submarine right-handed pitchers in their bullpen, and we just saw the lefty Roth, who drops down regularly. Taylor, a junior from Florence, South Carolina, making his 26th appearance. Just outside.
And these are really what the pitchers in college, these used to be the closers. They used to have a lot of guys that were submarine guys in the, Rick Rather era.
Strong start for Taylor. He struck out Caleb Herron, who's now 0 for 3. So they still haven't had a hit from a DH, Oklahoma, in their 3 games here.
And the guys that they have, this is really more of a 3/4 than it is straight underneath. Moda that they have also goes down, and he almost scrapes the dirt when he comes under there.
One out now, the top of the order. Talked at the top of the telecast how Sonny Galloway was looking for more from the top 3 hitters. Had just a little more. 2 for 8. White and Buechele a single apiece. Ellison's 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. 1-0 games of the College World Series are very rare. The aluminum bats. Generally the pitching beats the hitting. You have to go back to 1985. May 31st of 85. Arkansas beat South Carolina 1-0 in a 14-inning game. Howard Hilton, Tim Dietz, Fred Farwell combined on the shutout. Bradley the catch. Ellison retired, 2 down in the 8th.
Well, I would say a 0-0 game through the 9th is pretty odd.
I'm sure they're very proud at Oklahoma State the way you extrapolated there to reach that conclusion. Clemson gets the winner of this one. The loser is eliminated out of bracket 2. Only 2 teams left in bracket 1, UCLA and TCU. They'll play tomorrow. TCU in a must-win situation. UCLA has a mulligan as they are undefeated in bracket 1, and this is a double elimination format within the brackets. Winners of each bracket advance to the championship series. Will be best of 3. Max White is swinging a miss. They have a lot of situational pitchers in that South Carolina bullpen. Mark Calvey, the outstanding pitching coach, said ordinarily in college baseball, if you use more than 8 pitchers, your team's not very good. They use 11. They have one of the best pitching staffs in the country. They also have a good defensive team. It was Morales, the new second baseman, who came to the aid of Christian Walker, who did not resemble Aaron Andrews in Dancing with the Stars with that move. Sun setting here in Nebraska. South Carolina hoping the sun's not setting on their stay at the College World Series. Gamecocks down their final 6 outs. They're being shut out by Zach Neal, a junior from Flower Mound, Texas, in his first year at Oklahoma. 97 pitches through 7 innings. He's never pitched a shutout. He did pitch one complete game during the regular season way back on April 17th at Texas Tech. Allowed 1 run on 4 hits in that ball game in a 12-1 win. And he keeps throwing strikes. Facing the top of the order, he threw strike 1 to Evan Marzilli, who's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Marzilli has one of their hits. He had the first hit back in the first inning when he led off with a single. Stole second, went to third on an errant throw by the catcher Ogle. But he was stranded there. They've had very few good chances since. They have had runners in each of the last 3 innings after South Carolina failed to put a man on base in the second, third, or fourth.
No, that's out.
Just a little outside to Marzilli. From Cranston, Rhode Island, you might be wondering how did he wind up at South Carolina. His family would have a beach home on the coast of South Carolina in the summers. And he played for an AAU program in South Carolina in summer baseball.
That's
so
well.
the coach is very familiar with him, even though he hails from the great ocean state of Rhode Island.
Ball 3.
Three balls and 2 strikes. South Carolina trying to get the lead man on. That's happened only twice tonight, including last inning. There is action again in the Oklahoma bullpen. That's well struck to left. Back by the wall and off the base of the wall on a hop. Marzilli hustles into second with a double.
Well, they finally get that pitch in the middle of the zone, and you know the ball carries well at Rosenblatt, and you just got to get it in the middle of your barrel. And it's just a nice job by Marzilli just driving that ball the other way. Unfortunately, it doesn't come off the wall very hard. White made a great throw into second base, but just a nice job of hitting.
Marzilli's fired up, and that's going to be it for Zach Neal after 104 pitches. About as fine an effort as you'll see from a pitcher at the College World Series. And he gets a standing ovation from the Sooner fans, deservedly so. It's just the second extra base hit of the night for either team. Both of them doubles for South Carolina. Haney doubled with 2 outs back in the 5th. And now Marzilli, the leadoff double here in the 8th. He is a talented young man, not only on the field, but he's an accomplished guitarist, and he played the national anthem before one of their home games late in the year on Senior Day in Columbia. We got rave reviews from his teammates. Well, you know, they didn't have to add any of the wrinkles. The song is written the way it was written. It's a wonderful song, and I don't like when they put their own little flair into it, particularly singers.
Jazz it up a little bit.
He just played it the way it was written. I don't know if Francis Scott Key had the electric guitar in mind when he wrote it, but
well, it sounded better than Carl Lewis.
Speaking of guitar playing, you saw Tom Petty last night here in Omaha, the fabulous Quest Center. How was your old friend Tom Petty?
He did great. I loved it. My friend Bugs set us up. A few of us from ESPN. Yeah, Bugs works for Tom Petty. He's done it forever. It was a great show. I enjoyed it. We had a few people that work in the truck. Bonnie and Scott made it over. I had a great time. I'm sorry you missed it.
Every band have a guy named Bugs. I could picture that guy being a Bugs.
I don't think so. There's only one Bugs. That ain't Bugs. That's not Bugs.
And that's not Tom Petty.
That is, yeah, ZZ Top might have been in the stands, but that was not Tom Petty. No. They've already moved on.
Here's Jeremy Urban in a big situation. Senior team captains had a terrific year. Merrifield's younger brother hoping for a hit. Merrifield gave the team the pep talk last inning. Now let's see if his actions can speak louder than those words did. Bradley on deck. They have the hitters they want up there. Neal out after 7+, but Urban is an accomplished relief pitcher with a 7-1 record.
Well, the first thing that gives you hope if you're South Carolina is that you finally got Neal out of the game. I mean, he just pretty much worn you out for 7 innings, and you're just looking for some sort of positive, light at the end of the tunnel, and this is the best thing that could happen to you.
Urban from New Braunfels, Texas, between San Antonio and Austin. He's been busy through 55 pitches in the opener against South Carolina. Came back and pitched in game 2 against Clemson as well. So he's appeared in all 3 games here. Fastball in the low 90s, a slider and a changeup from Urban. A bunt down the third base line. Bouchel bobbles it and everybody's safe. First and third, and nobody out now for South Carolina. The tying run at third and the go-ahead run at first.
Well, because Cameron Seitzer's coming so close, he does a nice job at getting that ball to Bouchel, and it's bunted up. It's got some spin on it. I don't know if he would have let that go if it would have gone foul.
It's a sacrifice and an error on Bouchel. First error in 49 games for Bouchel. They're a solid defensive team. Both of these teams are. It's just the 5th error of the year for Bouchel. And now Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 3 tonight with an 18-game hitting streak coming in. He takes a fastball strike from Urban. He's as hot as any hitter in the country. The right man at the right time, the Gamecocks hope. And Urban's well aware of how hot he's been. Kept it away.
Well, in the first inning, he actually had a runner on third base, popped it up. And in this situation, you're looking, even if you hit into a double play, I mean, you're wanting to do something good, but even if you hit into a double play, you have to get the runner in from third base.
They're back up the middle. They'll play for the double play and allow the tying run in exchange for the 2 outs. They just don't want to play in with this guy up there and turn it into a big inning potentially for South Carolina. Urban in his 3rd year at Oklahoma out of Weatherford College, Fort Worth, Texas. Ooh, pretty good pitch, just missed. Zach Neal wanted it. Urban was just 1-5 for his career entering this year, and he said he was very relieved when he piled up all those wins. Did a good job in relief, held them in some games. They came back and won. He collected a bunch of wins, said, I don't want to leave Oklahoma with a losing record for my career. So with the 7-1 this year, he's 8-6 for his career. Swing and a miss. Tough night for Bradley, 0 for 4. He's taken some big cuts up there tonight. Certainly didn't cut down his swing with 2 strikes here.
Well, Oklahoma loves that backdoor curveball, especially on the lefties. You're going to go ahead and throw that thing on the outer half. And there's the guy that's the most concerned right now, the guy that left one runner on base.
Now a double play would get Oklahoma out of this inning with the lead still intact. It's Christian Walker. 1 for 3, single to center field in the 6th inning. 1 strike on the freshman Walker. 1-0 Oklahoma, bottom of the 8th. 1 out, runners at the corners. The tying run at 3rd for the Gamecocks. The go-ahead run at 1st.
No, that's the ball.
Fastball up and away. Urban, out of high school, shared Texas State Player of the Year honors with Clayton Kershaw. Now with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jeremy says that's the biggest highlight of his career prior to today. In the hole and a base hit. It'll tie the game. It's the freshmen who have done it for the Gamecocks. Marzilli got the inning started, and now fellow freshman Walker drives him in.
Well, Urban had been wearing out that outside corner, and this one he just leaves that slider out over the plate, and Walker gets it to go into that hole. Really caught too much of the plate with that slider.
So the runs charged to Neal. And now Urban responsible for the 2 base runners and trying to keep them in a tie game. In the bottom of the 8th, Brady Thomas, the hitter. He's 0 for 3, struck out twice against Zach Neal. He hits it solidly to center, but right at the center fielder. And the catch made by Chris Ellison. Runners no chance to tag, 2 down. Here's Adrian Morales. 1 for 3 tonight. He had a home run in their rout over Arizona State, right off the left field foul pole. Coaches said he has really become a team leader. Tough guy. They said some of the players might actually be a little bit intimidated by him. He's one of those guys, when he speaks, they listen. Junior out of Hialeah, Florida. Ooh, got a good pitch to hit there. A little bit of a hanger, and he chopped it down the 3rd base line. Is there a little bit more magic in the spirit stick? Morales, first year at Carolina. Transfer out of Miami-Dade Community College. Was huge in the regionals, the MVP. Now trying to be huge in the World Series, right off the end of the bat and over by the Oklahoma dugout.
Thank you, Catherine.
Catcher sets up away, and the fastball's away from Urban. He was just drafted in the 22nd round by Arizona in the draft early this month. As soon as he's finished here, he'll make his way to Missoula, Montana, begin his professional career. Going to come back in the fall and finish the 6 hours he needs to get his degree in sociology. 1-2 pitch. Bringing shot center field. Ellison retreating, and he makes the catch. Morales hit it hard. Zach Neal charged with 1 run. It's the freshman who got it done for the Gamecocks. Walker the single to knock in fellow freshman Marzilli. And we go to the ninth, tied at 1. World Series presented by Capital One. From Rosenblatt Stadium on a beautiful night, Oklahoma and South Carolina in an elimination game. The loser goes home. They're tied at 1 after the Gamecocks pushed across a run in the bottom of the 8th. Let's check in with Aaron Andrews.
Well, Sean Garrett-Fischel up to bat right now. He was charged with that error in the bottom of the 8th inning, and when he ran into the dugout to change in his glove, grab his bat, he just put his head down, threw his glove down. A couple of teammates tried to come over and talk to him. He was all business, not wanting to talk to anyone. Obviously pretty upset about that bottom of the 8th.
Well, a chance to atone quickly as Buechele leads off. 1 for 3, a single sandwiched between 2 walks. New pitcher out there. Matt Price, who's become their closer, making his second appearance of this College World Series, his 29th of the year. Redshirt freshman from Sumter, South Carolina. Pitched an inning and 2/3 of scoreless relief in their win over Arizona State to finish the game. And he's jumped ahead of Buechele, 0-2. Matt redshirted last year because he broke his wrist early in the season. Fractured his right wrist on a fielding play in a game at the Citadel. And was granted a medical redshirt. He is good stuff. Buechele clings to life.
Yeah, he throws about low to mid 90s, but really the coaching staff feels he's got a great breaking ball, plus breaking ball, go 12-6 that he can throw. Loves to throw strikes, and that's exactly what you want: an emotional pitcher, a closer, being able to throw strikes.
You mentioned it's a very deep pitching staff. 11 pitchers see regular action, and the bullpen's been terrific tonight. Michael Roth retired all 4 batters he faced. John Taylor threw a 1-2-3-8. They're facing elimination. If they don't win tonight, they're going to their closer here in a tie game, and he blows away Buechele.
Well, Matt Price, you know, he has a great breaking ball, so he's going to go ahead and get you with a fastball to start you out. And it's just a straight fastball, but he jumps ahead, gets it behind, and gets that curveball, drops it in there, throws one off the outer half, and then changes the eye level on the last pitch to get a strikeout and rides that ball at fastball. He's expecting maybe a curveball and really can't catch up with it.
Price threw strike 1 called to Tyler Ogle. Shell's had some uncomfortable looking swings the last couple of games. This looks like he's a little out of sync. Ball 2. Ogle singled and scored the Oklahoma run way back in the 2nd. Sacrificed in the 4th, walked in the 6th. Hit an opposite field home run against Clemson. There was wind aided. Very little breeze here tonight. What little breeze there is blowing out toward left. Price, second team all Southeastern Conference this year. Challenged him with a fastball, and 3-1. It's popped very high in the air. Tough time of the night to pick up the ball, and they drop it. Walker and Merrifield came together. Looks like they both saw it. It's that time of the night where the sky is about to call the baseball, and oftentimes on pop-ups like that you see fielders have a tough time finding it. I think they both saw it, but neither one caught it.
Well, this thing is sky high, and the thing that happens is pitchers are supposed to get out of the way. So you can see right there he's letting him go, but Walker had a tough time earlier on a foul ball that was behind him at first base, and the second baseman came over to catch that one. Wingo helped him out coming behind, and that's just one of the things that the third baseman came over to help. But you know what, you got to, whoever's in the spot, if the pitcher can catch it, they should call it. I mean, it's one of those things you want to try and get the pitcher out of there, but sometimes they're the best one to catch it.
It's an error on the first baseman, Walker. South Carolina's first error of the College World Series. What a terrible time for that to happen. Now the go-ahead run is aboard for Oklahoma. With 1 out, 2-0 the count on Cody Wren, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Walker was a third baseman at the beginning of the year, but struggled in the field. They moved him over to first base. He was a little bit erratic throwing. Didn't have great range at third. Slashing swing and a miss at a big breaking ball from Price. So Wren hit by a pitch, 2 men on and 1 out for Oklahoma in the 9th in a tie game.
Well, you can see when this ball goes up, as soon as it goes up, Matt Price knows exactly where he's at, and he doesn't want to cross this area right here because he knows the ball's going to be right in there. So he keeps going. He's trying to get out of the way. He's letting everybody know where it's at. You can see him continue to move away from where the ball's going to go because he doesn't want to get in the way of any of his runners. And really the guy that needs to come in is Morales. Morales needs to be the one that takes over in that situation.
The second baseman.
Yes.
Who started the game at third base. Now Cameron Seitzer. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Called the ball. They have one of their best hitters up there, Seitzer. His only hit of this College World Series was a home run against Clemson. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Chance to give him the lead. Sliced one foul into the seats.
You're talking about uncharacteristic, and if you're South Carolina, you make an error, you hit a guy, you're giving them opportunities that you feel like they haven't earned.
That's unusual. One of the best defensive teams in the country. Missed the target by a lot, but still got the strike call. Looked like the catcher Enders wanted it away, and it wound up hitting the inside part of the plate. They'll take it. 1-2 the count. Oklahoma's best hitter in this College World Series is Caleb Bushyhead. He's on deck. 1-2 pitch. Up and away. Seitzer, their second leading RBI man for the year. With 53. Michelle leads their club with 65. Carolina double play depth, hoping for the inning ender. Check swing along the peel. No, and a very close call for David Savage down at third.
I wouldn't be so surprised right here if Oklahoma doesn't send the runners.
You think that was a swing?
No.
Nor did I. Let's see if they do move the runners. With Seitzer up there. They do not go. Seitzer hits it up the middle. They didn't move him. It might be a double play, and it is. 4-6-3. Morales, Haney, and Walker. Morales gave him a very soft flip to the shortstop. It almost threw off the rhythm of the play. Seitzer grounds into an inning-ending 4-6-3 twin killing.
Well, that's just a nice flip to the shortstop. And really, if they would have had him running, you might have been out of it.
1-1 and a chance to win it for South Carolina when we come back. Director Mike Roig, our outstanding ESPN crew, delighted to have you with us. Pressure on Jeremy Urban for Oklahoma now. He cannot allow South Carolina to score. The Sooners season is over. Both teams facing elimination, each with 1 loss in this double elimination bracket format. Urban facing the bottom third of the South Carolina order. Zach Neal started. Went 7+, was outstanding. Miscue on a bunt play caused him to be charged with the only run. It scored after he came out of the ball game. Now Kyle Enders, the catcher. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He was walked and sacrificed. Bobby Haney next, and then Beery.
Ball, that's out.
Fastball zips outside. Two balls, one strike.
Ball.
Close to call the ball apparently low. And Urban didn't like that call.
Well, one of the things they do very well, Oklahoma does, is they keep the ball at the knees. I don't know if they've necessarily gotten all those pitches, but they always look good.
Another pitch down in the zone and pounded to short. Bushy head over to Seitzer for the out. The important leadoff man retired. Bobby Haney, the shortstop, double to right in the fifth. 1 for 3 tonight. The winner of this game will play Clemson tomorrow night. They'll need to beat Clemson twice in a row. The Tigers, with no losses in the bracket in this double elimination format, need just one win to advance to the championship series. Sure, Clemson would love to see these two teams play all night. Have a Isner-Mahut kind of match. Play for over 11 hours.
I was saying, I was hoping they weren't feeling very Wimbledon-like. We'll watch. We'll do the whole thing.
Fifth set finally ended at 70-68 at Wimbledon today.
I couldn't believe Isner had the ability to do that after he won. He did this kind of like a little backflip onto his back.
Tennis match lasted 3 days, more than 11 hours. 11:05 to complete. Ellison the catch in center. Urban 1 out away from getting his Sooners, the team he captains, into extra innings in a must-win game. And here's Robert Beery, who came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th and struck out against Zach Neal. Stayed in the game as the right fielder. Little hanger and a pop-up, not very high in the air, caught by Bushyhead. It's a 1-2-3 ninth. We go to extra innings. The loser goes home. They're tied at 1. South Carolina in this elimination game heading for extra innings. The winner survives to play Clemson tomorrow night. Right after UCLA and TCU go head-to-head with the Horned Frogs trying to fend off elimination, and UCLA the only undefeated team in bracket 1. Matt Price beginning his 2nd inning of relief, facing Caleb Bushyhead, who's been their best hitter at this College World Series. He drove in their only run tonight with a single back in the 2nd. He's grounded out twice since. Bushyhead, as we mentioned earlier, was only 5'4" and 110 pounds when he started in the high school. And even though he grew and was a very productive high school player, he still was not highly recruited. Matter of fact, at the end of his senior year, he was all set to attend a junior college, and then he got an unexpected phone call from one of the coaches from Oklahoma, Tim Tadlock. Caleb said when he heard the message, it's like, no way, that's awesome. He's an Oklahoma coach. And they said they'd heard a lot about him, invited him to come down to visit. He was on his way to a summer showcase down in Mesquite, Texas, so he stopped in Norman, worked out for them. They said, yeah, we like you. We'd like you to come to Oklahoma. And they're very glad that they grabbed him late, because as we've seen throughout this College World Series, Caleb Bushyhead's a very important part of their team. High fly ball in right center for Jackie Bradley Jr. 1 out. Well, the great action from the 2010 FIFA World Cup continues on ESPN and ESPN2 Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. On ESPN, Chile take into the knockout stage with the final 16. Danny Black took a strike, 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 9 here in Omaha. In the stands, Callan Galloway, the 10-year-old son of the head coach, ordinarily the bat boy, but you have to be 13 years old. He's going to his lucky move there on the wristband. He's in uniform tonight. It's interesting. He said he noticed that Coach Schlossnagel's son for TCU was in uniform. So he said, Dad, should I be in uniform too up in the stands? And Dad said, sure, if you want to be.
Yeah, you got to suit up. I mean, these guys treat him like a regular player.
There's his dad's number, but he's pondering a number change. His favorite player is Max White, the left fielder, number 7. Sonny said, even though, you know, it's nice my son wears my number, if he's going to pick a player, Max White is a great kid to emulate. Just a wonderful young man who's been very good to Callan Galloway. Swing and a miss. Galloways are Oklahoma through and through. Their dog's name is Boomer. Sonny's daughter Taylor's a student at Oklahoma. When she's on the cheer squad, gets to cheer for the football and women's basketball teams. And a good breaking ball there by Price to strike out Black. And there's Taylor. Well, they're still looking for their first hit from a DH. Here's Ricky Eisenberg. They've started 3 different DHs in 3 games. Eric Ross, Eisenberg started the last game against Clemson. Caleb Herron tonight. They're all hitless. Herron was 0 for 3. There's Ross Hubbard, who was their DH much of the year. Matter of fact, he started 27 games. He was hitting over 300 with some power. But on senior day, last game at home, he got struck in the face with a line drive. Very scary accident. Broke some bones in his face. Had a concussion. And his vision hasn't totally returned to 100%. So he's not able to play. They haven't allowed him to be a student assistant, be in uniform in the dugout. What a shame for Ross near the end of his senior season as his team makes the College World Series. And they miss him because he was more productive as the DH than his replacements have been.
Yeah, and that's just a tough break. You know, you get hit in the face and you think, you know, going into the postseason, you're going to have the chance to, you know, help your team into the World Series and possibly win a national championship. It's just unfortunate.
Price hoping for a 1-2-3 inning. And it's just off the end of the bat of Eisenberg. The DHs for Oklahoma combined 0 for 10. Two balls and 2 strikes. Might be starting to get past Callan's bedtime. 1-1 game, an elimination game in extra innings. He jammed him. Routine chopper to short. Haney's going to field that one just about every time. It's a 1-2-3 inning. And another chance to win it for South Carolina with the top of their order coming up in a tie game, bottom of the 10th. It's the Chance to win it for South Carolina here in the bottom of the 10th inning, tied at 1. The winner will play Clemson tomorrow night. And the loser goes home. And this is the part of the batting order, the top of the order that got it done for the Gamecocks in the 8th. They've been shut out through 7 by Zach Neal. But then Evan Marzilli led off with a double. He wound up scoring the game-tying run, and he leads off again. He's 2 for 4 tonight. The freshman's had a lot of big hits, particularly lately for South Carolina. Jeremy Irvin's pitched 2 innings of scoreless relief. He threw strike 1 to Marzilli. Marzilli was 6 for 10 in the regionals. Hits that one right at Bushy Head. A nice high hop for Caleb. Out! 1 out. In fact, it was Marzilli who hit the home run right after they had that rain delay when it was 5-1 against Bucknell. They were behind, and they had the rain delay. They brought out the Avatar Spirit Stick, and it was Marzilli who hit a 2-run homer that jump-started the comeback. They went on to beat Bucknell and swept through the regional without a loss. And then swept 2 from Coastal Carolina in the Super Regional. Whit Merrifield, the batter. 0 for 3 with a sacrifice. He and Bradley have been terrific in the first 2 games here, but nothing from them tonight. A combined 0 for 7. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s on deck. That's lined to right and caught. There was a bullet, but right at Cody Wren. 2 quick outs for South Carolina. Jeremy Irvin trying to keep his team's season alive. A lot of pressure on him. Kind of like that guy Mahood.
Yeah,
every time he went to serve,
that same thing.
He had to hold serve in that 5th set tiebreak.
I mean,
the 5th set match wasn't a tiebreak, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, that's that same thing you have when you're the visiting team, is you got to hold serve every time you don't score. I mean, it's the same kind of pressure. You go out there and you know you can't make any mistakes. Just one pitch and it's over.
They have to be careful with Jackie Bradley Jr., who homered in each of their first 2 games here. He's been taking some big home run cuts tonight, going 0 for 4. So in extra innings here, a bonus opportunity for him to extend his 18-game hitting streak. Still 5 for 12 in this College World Series, even with the 0 for tonight. Hit it very hard, but right at the second baseman Black, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Jeremy Irvin. On to the 11th. An 8-pitch inning for Irvin. We're tied at 1.
Thanks to the new venture.
Big crowd tonight here at Rosenblatt Stadium. It looked like just about every seat was filled. Now that the ball game's gone past the 3-hour mark and into the 11th inning, some of the folks have departed, but those with a vested rooting interest for one of these 2 teams have not left. Season on the line for both Oklahoma and South Carolina. This is an elimination game. And the redshirt freshman Matt Price pitched 2 scoreless innings of relief. He'll face the top of the order, which again tonight for Oklahoma has not been very productive. 5 for 35 now in this College World Series for the top of the order. Chris Ellison a swing and a miss. 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch back in the first. Then Max White and Garrett Buechele. Price is not allowed a hit in his 2 innings. He's hit a batter. They had a man reach on an error on that drop pop-up in the 9th.
That's foul. All right, 1-2 here.
for strike 3. Belt high inside part of the plate. 3 strikeouts for Price in 2 1/3 innings.
Well, Price keeps getting the hitters off balance with sliders on the outer half, and this is just a fastball that starts at the front hip of the left-handed hitter and it rides back over the middle part of the plate, and he also puts it right underneath his hands. Really that no man's land for a hitter to be able to get the barrel on it.
Breaking ball strike to Max White, who's 1 for 4 with a single to left in the 6th inning. He has home run power, 15 of them this year. Price got the call on the outside corner. 0-2. Oklahoma's won the close ones this season. They're 13-6 in 1-run games, and that includes 4-1 in the NCAA tournament. Strike 3, beautiful pitch. Outside part of the plate around the knees. Pinpoint control here in the 11th for Matt Price with back-to-back strikeouts. 4 strikeouts in all for Price. Here's Aaron.
Sean, I talked to Sonny Galloway about the top of the order. These guys struggling so much, and he thought it all about changing things up heading into tonight. He said he's been asked that question a lot before tonight's game, and he just said, I don't want to change anything. You know, I want to dance with who I brought. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these guys. We got to think he was hoping they could have some sort of production tonight from what he's seeing.
Well, one big swing from one of these guys would cover up a lot of failure to come through in the previous opportunities. But Buechele, boy, not only has he not been very productive lately, he is way off.
Well, one of the things that can happen, especially in extra inning games, is everybody wants to hit the home run. So you commit too early, and a pitcher's not just going to throw you one inside. He's going to make you go outside and hit something the other way.
Wouldn't chase that one. Buechele, 1 for 3. He has singled. He has struck out 3 times. Their leading hitter at just 2 for 13 for the College World Series. He does have 17 homers.
You know, part of the deal going to the plate in the extra innings is you have to hit what you're going to get, not what you want to do, but you basically have to just react to what they're going to give you, and they're not going to give you a fastball inside.
2-2 pitch. He struck him out. Price strikes out the side in the 11th. Buechele is fanned 4 times tonight. And again, the Sooners have to hold their breath as we go to the bottom of the 11th. South Carolina with another chance to win it in a 1-1 game.
Tight, and we haven't done that a lot this season. We kind of played with fear. We can't worry about it being an elimination game.
We know what adversity feels like. We're never going to get too down on ourselves or too proud of ourselves because we know who we are and what we got to do.
You know, we're going to have to come up through a loser's bracket here, so, I mean, once again, momentum's key.
We're known as the comeback kids back in Oklahoma. We're going to play as hard as we possibly can, just all out, every play. Just come out and play baseball.
They have been the comeback kids. 27 come from behind wins this year for Oklahoma. With South Carolina, they came from 1-0 down to tie it tonight. Now a chance to win it. Now, Coach Tanner was saying to us this morning, Robin, these teams are similar. They don't really have the lineup with a lot of big hitters with big reputations. They're the kind of offensive groups that really have to fight and scratch and do the little things to score runs. We're seeing that tonight.
Yeah, and that's just the way they've played all year. They don't have the electrifying, 3-4 hitters that are just going to hit bombs everywhere. They have very smart hitters. They have smart hitters that are situational type hitters that can drive the ball the other way. But, I'd say 1 to 9, they wouldn't be in the top 8 that are here.
Urban throwing a couple of fastballs, still has good life on it, 92 miles per hour. We've got some rally caps stacked up in that Gamecocks dugout. crowd didn't like it. It looked worse because the catcher dropped it. It looked like a pretty good pitch. Vogel didn't help the home plate umpire A.J. Stagville by dropping it. They don't have their hats on. They haven't piled up. They're trying everything over there. Spirit stick, pile of hats, and maybe the hat pile will work as there's a ringing single for Christian Walker. They have the winning run aboard to open the 11th inning in this elimination game. You have to wonder about fatigue for Jeremy Urban. He's pitched in all 3 games here. He's thrown over 100 pitches. Pitched yesterday in the completion of their game against Clemson.
Cam, be ready.
I think you can think about it, but if you're Oklahoma, who do you want in there? I mean, if your season depends on it like it does right now, this is the guy you want in there.
Ryan Dukes, their closer. Urban's thrown 37 pitches tonight, 104 for the 3 ball games. Chad Holbrook, the third base coach, associate head coach, with a conversation with Brady Thomas. They're going to bunt. It's going to have to be a good one. Walker's not a real fast runner over there at first base. There's 104 pitches over 3 games now, a total of 6 innings for the senior captain for Oklahoma. Done a great job under the pressure here in the late innings. The bunt is popped up. And that's been a problem for South Carolina. Haney had trouble getting a bunt down the other day, and he took a lot of extra bunting practice as a result, with his teammates giving him a hard time throughout the extra bunting practice. This is a team that prides itself on getting this kind of thing done.
Yeah, well, you got to do it right, and one of the things he's doing right here is he'll jab at the ball, and once the ball's going up, you can't try and jab at it right there. He just tries to turn it. You already should have the angle, and all you're going to do is catch it. As soon as you move it, that barrel moves, and the ball, it's just very hard to get the ball in the middle of the bat.
Thomas has only 1 sacrifice all year. He punts in the air again, sights or catches it. If you have a guy who can't bunt and you want to bunt, should you put somebody else up there? I mean, Ray Terry talks about the versatility of his lineup.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, those are the things that, you know, when you go to your practice, you're going to work on. And right here, you got to get the bat out in front and get your head behind the barrel so you can see it. It's just like anything else on the field, a ground ball or anything else. You need to get your head behind it so you can really see the ball to the bat. Just like you would if you were fielding, you would see the ball into your glove.
Looking down their stats, they really don't have anybody on the bench who's dropped down a lot of sacrifice bunts. We might be running out of ways to try to inspire a rally here. 1 ball to count on Morales. And another one. Urban lost his footing just a bit after he delivered the pitch. Morales single to left in the 7th. 24,180 here tonight. Right now, there's a nervous silence hanging over Rosenblatt in this elimination game. Loser goes home. Morales pops it up. Shallow center. Bushyhead wants it. Two outs. The runner still at first for South Carolina in a 1-1 game in the 11th. Kyle Enders 0 for 2 with a walk and a sacrifice. He faced Urban in the 9th inning and grounded to short. Seitzer is holding Walker at first as Urban delivers the ball high. Outfield's deep. They want to try to prevent a gapper that would win the game. point in the game where every breaking ball has to be sharp or it could be season over. Looked like Enders was a little chagrined that he didn't swing at that last one.
Well, I think you're right. They're going to be working the outside part of the plate. The last thing you want to do is hang one in the middle part of the plate and give anybody a good swing to hit one out of here. And in normal nights, it would carry into right field, center field. But tonight, very still night, you're going to have to really get into one to get it out of here.
Enders really not a home run hitter. Has just 2 all year. Sends that out of play to right. One of those home runs came back on May 2nd in a 20-15 win over Alabama when Enders went 5 for 5.
All right, 2-2 here.
Against a very good Alabama team. Sonny Galloway calls the pitches. The catcher Ogle gives the signs to Urban. Who missed low and away. And a break perhaps for South Carolina because now the runner from first, Christian Walker, will be off with a head start with a 3-2 pitch and 2 outs. Seitzer's moved a little bit behind Walker, who goes, and it's ball 4 high. Now the winning run is in scoring position with 2 outs for South Carolina. Are you surprised they're going to stick it at Piers with Urban? Duke's been their closer. You're in a must-win situation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is who you want in there. I mean, you have total trust in Urban, especially with, you know, getting your closer up. And now we're going to get a pinch runner just in case there is a base hit. We're bringing Adam Matthews.
So Matthews running for Walker.
Oh no. Oh no.
You think?
Oh no.
You think he ruined the pile there? Jeffrey Jones, hey, he wants his hat. So it's Adam Matthews representing the potential winning run. He's at second base. Enders at first. The hitter is Haney. We mentioned they're not particularly strong at the bottom of this order. The number 8 hitter.
That's foul.
Foul tip. Haney's 1 for 4 tonight with a double down the right field line back in the 5th.
Well, I am surprised. The outfield's pretty deep, and you know you're going to have to throw somebody out at home plate with a base hit. I mean, you're not worried about doubles anymore. You're worried more about just a ground ball getting through the infield.
Max White, the left fielder, would seem is way too deep. Haney pulls one foul. Urban a strike away from getting out of this inning. One run, 7 hits, an error for South Carolina. 1 run, 6 hits, and 2 errors for Oklahoma.
All right, 0-2 here. Play.
They've got 4 hits for Oklahoma. 0-2 pitch. Hit for the second baseman who's out in shallow right field, and Danny Black throws him out. He was positioned perfectly, well out on the outfield grass, and we go to the 12th.
To lift the trophy and call yourself champion is the dream of every college student athlete.
And Georgia Southern has won the national championship.
Don't miss any of the action at NCAA.com. Your home for all 88 NCAA.
1-1 the score. We go to the 12th inning. The Oklahoma run way back. When it was bright and sunny in the second, Caleb Bushy had a single that brought in Tyler Ogle. Meanwhile, Zach Neal was dominant as the Oklahoma starter. He took a shutout into the 8th. Fifth inning, a good chance for South Carolina. Evan Marzilli popped out with the bases loaded. Neal still had his shutout. Then a costly error by Garrett Buechele on a bunt try for South Carolina. Christian Walker made it hurt with a single that brought in Evan Marzilli, who had been bunted over to third. They had 2 men on with 1 out. Did South Carolina, after the run scored, could not get that go-ahead run in. Neither team has scored in extra innings. Jeremy Urban and Matt Price outstanding in relief for Oklahoma and South Carolina, respectively. Jeffrey Jones comes into the ball game after they ran for Christian Walker. Jones now the first baseman. And after 3 dominant innings from Matt Price, he's out of the ball game. Did not allow a hit in 3 innings of relief, and they handed over to the freshman, big guy, 6'5", 200 pounds, out of Newport News, Virginia, Ethan Carter, making his 24th appearance, 3-0, but with an ERA of over 5. It's the 5th pitcher of the night for South Carolina. Oklahoma has not had a hit since the 6th inning. They've had only 4 hits in the ballgame. Max White singled to left with 1 out in the 6th, their last hit. Middle third of the order for the Sooners here in the 12th in a 1-1 game. Tyler Ogle singled and scored their run way back in the 2nd. A sacrificed walk, reached on an error since.
Well, for OU, this has really been the part of their lineup that has been very successful and very good for them during the College World Series.
Deep drive, right center field. Way back by the 375 marker. Gone! Tyler Ogle gives Oklahoma the lead. His 2nd home run of the College World Series, both to the opposite field. And a rube grading for Ethan Carter, the freshman, making his first appearance in the College World Series. They decided to take Price out after 51 pitches in 3 innings. He had been dominant, struck out the side last inning, and they took advantage of the newcomer Carter on a towering fly ball that just made it over the wall for Oklahoma. So it's going to be 1 batter and out for Carter. They love the depth of their bullpen, and they're going to continue to demonstrate it with Tyler Webb, the new pitcher for the Gamecocks. Coach Galloway's daughter Taylor loves it. And Ogle, the man of the hour in Norman, trying to keep their season alive. Now South Carolina will have to score at least once in the bottom of the 12th to keep its season going. Webb making his 16th appearance of the year. Another freshman. A 2-2 record. And averaging a strikeout per inning.
Well, I think we've gotten into the situation where this is Johnny Holstaff, where you're just going to use everybody you possibly can just to keep it to 1 run. I mean, at this point, you're going to match up with Cody Wren coming up. Left-handed hitter, you're going to bring in the lefty. And this is, for Ogle, he likes to hit the ball the other way. And if you're a Midwest team, you know how to get some elevation. The wind usually blows out. And, tonight the wind's not really blowing out. So that's just a nice job of getting it on the barrel and being strong when you hit it.
Webb making his 2nd appearance in the College World Series. He worked in the opener against Oklahoma, pitched 2/3 of an inning.
Ball no.
Scoreless and hitless relief. Struck out 1. Wasn't involved in the decision in the 4-3 Oklahoma win over South Carolina. They're trying to win another 1-run game over the Gamecocks to eliminate them. Wren sends it out of play to the left. Surprised given the circumstances. I mean, season over. If you lose, they didn't stick with Price for at least another inning. He'd thrown 51 pitches. And that hits Wren. He's aboard with nobody out.
Well, I think even for both teams, you had Price, what was in right there. You had Duke, it's the closer that they stayed. You just, it's just one of those things that you try and go with who you think is going to be able to get you through. And it's hard not to be able to think to tomorrow. And that's the most difficult thing is teams, they have to win tonight at all costs. And then you got to come back again tomorrow and have something left for Clemson.
Price has had longer outings than the one he had at night. Longest outing of the season was April 4th against Mississippi State. Pitched 5 innings through 80 pitches. It's 29 more pitches than he threw tonight. Had a 4-inning outing against Valparaiso early in the year. He's certainly capable of going longer. He struck out the side in the 11th, had retired the last 7 batters he had faced, and hadn't given up a hit in 3 innings of relief, and they took him out. We go to a freshman who had not pitched in a College World Series game. He gave up the home run. Fellow freshman Webb hit the next batter. The bunt's a little hard, and they get the out at second. Shortstop Haney staying on the bag. They just do get Wren, and Seitzer fails in his bid to sacrifice. He's at first now with 1 out.
Well, this is a tricky bunt. You're trying to get the angle to get it to first base, and he doesn't get that bat out in front. And Wren comes off, and they barely get him. As a shortstop, you want to be more in front of the bag, so your glove is further out in front of the bag, so you can catch it quicker. As in college, you don't have to protect yourself by being behind the base. The runner has to slide directly into the base. And that is different from Major League Baseball, where they can try and take you out, and that's part of protecting the infielders, is why you have to slide directly into the base.
Bushy had a swing and a miss. 1-1 on Caleb. 1 for 4. He drove in their first run back in the second. They just got their second run on a home run by Ogle, leading off the 12th. 2-1 Oklahoma. They have just 5 hits. Out of play to the left. Hit to second, a double play ball if they hurry, and they cannot turn it. Bushy Head runs too well. And he's aboard with 2 outs. They erase Seitzer 4-6. Morales to Haney. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 12th, when South Carolina will lead and need at least 1 run to keep their season going. Beery, Marzilli, and Merrifield, batters 9, 1, and 2, due up. Probably against the closer Ryan Duke for Oklahoma. Webb throws a strike. Black 0 for 4 tonight. Has struck out his last 2 times up. Zach Neal, the starting pitcher. His effort should not be forgotten. The runner is going, and Bushy Head is safe as the ball clangs off the glove of Haney and winds up in shallow right center. It looked like they had a good chance to get him. Haney might have been in a bit too much of a hurry to slap that tag on, and Enders is frustrated.
And this is a nice throw by Enders. You can see Bushy Head gets a good jump, and the ball sails. And, like you said, he's just in too much of a hurry to try and put that tag down.
1-2.
And a swing and a miss by Black. He kicked the ball for a moment. They're going to have to throw down the first for the out, and they do, and that ends the inning. But Ogle has given them the lead. Their 5th home run in 3 games of the College World Series. All of them solo shots. Their 15th home run in 9 games in this NCAA tournament. They've been leaning on the long ball to keep their season going. They lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 12th.
Thanks to the new venture car.
We can curl up and die, or we can fight. Let's fight, baby. Hey, win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
The senior Ross Hubbard, we mentioned earlier, unable to play after getting hit in the face with a line drive late in the season during a batting practice accident. But a student assistant coach trying to motivate the team before they fight all the way into the 12th. And Ogle finally gives them the lead. Hubbard loves it. Big smile on his face. He doesn't want his career to end tonight. Ogle's at 2 home runs. They've had the knack for the late inning home run all season long. 22 home runs this year for Oklahoma from the 8th inning or later. Big reason why they've been an excellent come from behind team. So South Carolina needs a run to force another inning. Move it on to the 13th. 2 runs would win the game. They'll take their swings against Ryan Duke, the junior from Corpus Christi, Texas. 12 saves this season. 28 saves for his career. He's tied for the school record. Fastball 93 upstairs, swung on and missed by Beery. Robert came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th. He's 0 for 2. Duke tied with Jeff Badgeneru. He had 28 saves in 1999 and 2000 for the Oklahoma career save mark. The save that tied him for the all-time record was against South Carolina. In the opening game of this College World Series on Sunday, Duke pitched the final inning, got out of a jam in that inning. And there's a base hit. They were guarding the line on the left side. Big hole over there. And behind in the count, Beery comes up with a leadoff single.
Well, again, Dukes is painting that outer half just like all the Oklahoma pitchers have done tonight, and just leaves it in the middle of the plate. And that's one thing that South Carolina was going to have to be careful of, is you don't want to go up there and think you're just going to be able to hit a home run. He's going to give you a pitch to hit a home run with.
So Sonny Galloway is on his way to the mound. There's nobody warming up, so there's not going to be a pitching change here. It'll be interesting to see how Ray Tanner decides to play it. Needing a run to keep the season alive, you would expect a bunt, would you not, from the leadoff man, Marzilli?
You're going to have to bunt, get somebody in scoring position. Not that it's helped them a whole lot tonight. They've had some guys in scoring position, haven't been able to get that run across, but you at least got to get them to second base.
So nice to see a well-pitched game in college baseball. It's hard to be a pitcher with these aluminum bats. And I think we've also seen what Coach Tanner talked about this morning. Neither one of these lineups is the kind that makes you go, wow, how are we going to get through that lineup? Not a lot of marquee hitters up and down the lineup on either side. So this is the kind of game you'd expect when you had the aces going. They went to their best bullpen men.
It also makes it to where the coaches have to have a little more strategy in what they're doing. You know, you're going to give up and out.
World Cup primetime coming up next. All the latest news, scores, and highlights from the World Cup. Here's Evan Marzilli. He's had a good night. 2 hits for the freshman. 2 for 5. He doubled and scored the South Carolina run. He gets the bunt down the line. Foul.
Foul ball.
I don't know if they're doing it by design, but Marzilli's bunting that ball to third base. I know Buechele had that error earlier in the game, and you can pretty much guarantee that he's not going to do that again. This bunt needs to go down the first base line with Seitzer holding the runner on.
I think that's what Ray Tanner was saying to Chad Holbrook, the third base coach. He wants that bunt toward first. Marzilli can't get it down. Well, they have failed several times now in this College World Series to get a bunt down. And when you scuffle to score, you can't afford to Failed to get the fundamentals done properly.
Well, sometimes you fall in love, you think it's just really easy to bunt, and it is if you can do it properly. And you need to get that bat way out in front of the plate so you can get the angle to get it to first base.
Would you leave the bunt on, or does he have to swing now?
I think you got to swing now.
And he takes the ball low. Merrifield is on deck, and then Bradley. They're the two best hitters for South Carolina. They're two leading hitters for average among the regulars who played all year. And they're two leading home run hitters, each with 13. 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. And a failure to get the bunt down. And Marzilli's the first out of the 12th. They need a run to extend the season.
Well, this one, once you get stuck, you know you got to make up for it, because you were expected to go up there and bunt a guy over. And this is just reaching back for Duke and blowing it by him.
The runner goes, and the pitch is fouled back, and that's unfortunate for South Carolina because Beery had a great jump.
Yeah, and part of your job as a hitter, when the runner at first base gets that good of a jump, you don't have to swing. I think even if you get the hit and run, you don't swing. If a guy gets such a good jump that you know he can steal it, you got to let him have it.
Rare 0 for tonight for Merrifield. 0 for 4 with a sacrifice bunt back in the 8th inning. Beery has 2 stolen bases in 3 tries this year. He's the tying run at first. 2-1 Oklahoma, 12th inning. And the ball just outside. And the hottest hitter on their team on deck, Jackie Bradley. You know he'd love another chance. Had hit an 18 in a row coming in. He's had an ugly looking 0 for 5 tonight. With only 1 ball out of the infield for Bradley. He's very dangerous and a looming presence in the on deck circle. Beery runs, and he's going to make it without a throw.
Well, again, that's a nice job right there by Merrifield to just make sure that you don't swing at a pitch. Being over aggressive, foul it off. Beery had that, easily stolen on the pitcher.
Duke stepped off. Neither middle infielder was anywhere near the second base bag.
And that's a big stolen base, because now you guarantee that you get Jackie Bradley Jr. to the plate.
Merrifield, 9th round pick of the Kansas City Royals. He's had a terrific career at South Carolina. Pitch in the dirt. He's a junior, but likely to head off professional baseball after this season.
In that outfield, playing very deep. You want to stop that run and cut it off at home plate, but you also don't want to give up a double that would put the winning run on second base.
And Max White, the left fielder, just a couple of steps from the warning track, and that's popped up high in the air and foul ground, playable for Buechele, and he makes the catch. So South Carolina's down, perhaps its final out of the season. They have the man they would want up there. Jackie Bradley Jr. has been an offensive spark on Sunday against Oklahoma. Solo shot way up into the right field seats in the 4th inning. On Tuesday, he launched a 3-run homer to left center, 13th of the year. He came in having hit it 18 games in a row and having hit .440 in this NCAA tournament, but he's 0 for 5 tonight. The streak secondary because it's their season that's on the line. 2-1 Oklahoma. The loser goes home. The winner will play Clemson tomorrow night.
Right here, you're just going to see a complete pitch sequence on the outer half of this plate, and really they love that backdoor slider, but you're not going to see anything middle in.
Outfield still very deep. A blooper would likely fall. South Carolina in the 2 games here at the College World Series against Oklahoma, a combined 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 11 tonight, down and in. Ball 2. You can understand, Robin, they want to be careful to Bradley, but you don't want to be too careful. You walk him. He's the winning run with great speed at first base.
Right. You know, you just make sure you don't throw him something good. If you do walk him, you have Jones, who just came in the game. You know, you're instead of pitching to the best hitter on your team, you're now pitching to a guy that came in off the bench.
So would you continue to be very, very careful? And if you walk him, so what?
Be very, very careful. If he's going to hit something, he's going to have to hit something to left field. I imagine right here is going to be your backdoor slider.
South Carolina down to its final strike. Two balls and 2 strikes on Jackie Bradley Jr. 2 outs. A 1-run lead for Oklahoma in the 12th. Tying run at second for the Gamecocks. The 2-2 from Duke. Just inside. He wanted the call. Didn't get it from A.J. Lastaglio. He's had a very good night calling the balls and strikes.
Well, they took a shot inside, and he just missed.
Jeffrey Jones on deck. Robin mentioned he came in for defense, hasn't had an at-bat tonight. Three-2 pitch. Base hit into right field. Berry's being waved around. And he scores the tying run for South Carolina. Down to their final strike of the season, Jackie Bradley Jr. delivered for the Gamecocks.
Well, this is just a good old-fashioned battle, and this ball just left over the middle of the plate. And with the defense playing so deep in the outfield, you don't have any chance to throw out the runner at home plate.
So Bradley, in a very tough night, extends his hitting streak to 19 games when they were down to their final strike. They had first base open. They didn't have to throw him that tasty a pitch, especially with Jeffrey Jones, who hasn't had an at-bat in the entire College World Series, came in to play defense in the on-deck circle.
Well, now you're going to have to be really careful with Bradley Jr. at first base, the way Beery stole that last base.
Bradley Jr. has 7 stolen bases this year, been caught 3 times. Jeffrey Jones, the hitter. We mentioned his first at bat of the College World Series, but he's had plenty of experience. Started 30 games this year, 110 at bats. He's hit an even 300 and has home run power at 8. Senior from Fort Worth, Texas. Out of Navarro Junior College. Ball 2.
Well, now you have to be careful. You don't spend so much time worrying about Bradley Jr. that you end up walking a hitter.
check on Bradley. Brady Thomas is on deck. Ball 3 for Duke, who was poised to be their all-time saves leader by himself if he could have closed it out. Cannot convert in the most important save situation of his career. Now he's just trying to keep their season alive. In a tie game in the 12th, 2 outs. Winning run at first for South Carolina. Bradley with good speed. And ball 4 inside. Bradley's in scoring position. On a 4-pitch walk to Jones off the bench.
Well, I think the effect of Bradley Jr. at first base, especially after giving up that hit, where you're focused so much on getting that last out, give up a hit, now you're worried about him stealing second base. And he just kind of loses control to Jones to move Bradley into scoring position.
And it's Brady Thomas 0 for 5 tonight. And Robin, if you'll recall, we spoke with Coach Tanner this morning. He said Brady Thomas always gives you a very competitive at bat, and he's a clutch hitter. Couldn't have a bigger spot to come on through in the clutch for South Carolina than this one.
Up the middle, base hit. They're going to wave Bradley around. Here he comes to the plate, and South Carolina wins, and they're still alive.
A crushing defeat for Oklahoma. They were 1 strike away from advancing to tomorrow night. And the Galloway family can't believe the sudden dramatic turn of events for the negative for them. South Carolina down to its last strike. Bradley drove in the tying run. And then the man Coach Tanner said was very clutch, Brady Thomas, 0 for 5 tonight, rips a single through the middle, and South Carolina is still alive. And they'll take on their rival Clemson. Let's head down to Aaron Andrews.
Sean, thanks. I'm with 2 guys tonight that were 0 for 5 before their big hits, not to rub it in. But Jackie, let me start with you. I know at that point you probably weren't even thinking about extending the hitting streak. Talk to me about that at bat you had to tie the game up.
At first I thought maybe they were going to pitch around me a little bit, but they started coming right at me. And after that, I noticed they were coming after me. I was going to try to hang tough. I got down in the count a little bit, started battling, and I was trying to look for something to drive. But he happened to get a pitch right down the middle, and I happened to get it through the hole.
And Brady, I'll ask you, I mean, same thing, 0 for 5, 2 outs. I mean, what's going through your mind during the at-bat?
All the pressure was on them. I was just looking for a good first pitch to hit for a fastball, and I got a good pitch, and I was just fortunate to put a good swing on it.
And you both know a little bit about the team that you're getting ready to face tomorrow in Clemson. Huge rival with your school, obviously. What are your thoughts about facing off against the Tigers tomorrow?
Hey, win or go home. Win or go home.
What about you?
That's right. I mean, they're playing great right now. Hopefully we'll carry this confidence over to tomorrow, and I know it's going to be a great game.
Go celebrate with your teammates, guys. Congratulations. Thank you. Sean.
All right, Aaron. Brady Thomas, our Capital One player of the game, the senior from Anderson, South Carolina. With the game-winning RBI, brought in Bradley Jr., kept it alive. It was a tough call for Sonny Galloway. Do you pitch to Bradley Jr.? Do you put him on first base and put the winning run on base? They came after him. He made them pay, and then the walk to Jones brought Thomas up at first and second, the winning run in scoring position. And that was as big a mistake as anything. The walk to Jones, a bench player, to bring Thomas up there with the winning run in scoring position.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that you kind of lose your composure a little bit when you give up the run to tie up the game, and then you come back and you're worried about him at first base, and you know, because you pay so much attention to him, you walk Jones anyway, and he gets the second.
So they're still facing elimination tomorrow night. They have one loss in this bracket. Clemson doesn't have any, so they'll have to beat Clemson twice in a row. Clemson needs just one win. Duke could not be consoled after that game ended. Terrific year, one of the best closers in school history. Mrs. Galloway, daughter Taylor. It hurts. If you've ever competed, you know how much it hurts. And with OU's defeat, we're guaranteed now having a first-time champion of the College World Series. None of the teams left have ever won a College World Series title, including South Carolina. They played Clemson 3 times during the regular season. Clemson won 2 out of the 3. They play once at each other's home and 1 neutral site game. So Oklahoma eliminated in absolutely heartbreaking fashion. It'll be Clemson and South Carolina tomorrow night at 9 Eastern time on ESPN2 HD. Following UCLA and TCU with a win, UCLA will advance to the national championship finals. Final score in extra innings, South Carolina 3, Oklahoma 2 for Robin and Aaron. Sean McDonough saying so long from Omaha. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, now World Cup primetime.